A very good evening, everybody. Nice to have you company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Nice to have you along for a ride. This is Thursday Night Motorsport for the third week of Term 2 of 2024. And it's open wheel night, as it's become known now, with the Porsches being phased out, making way for the Super Formula Lights. It is an all open wheel affair tonight, and it's all sprint racing tonight for the first time this season as well. my friends. And 3 races first up here for the Spreyton side of Formula V's from the Donington Park circuit in the United Kingdom. Then we head on to the Mediterranean, if you like. We're off to Spain. Now, that answers the first question I had. There we go. G'day to Trenton Naylor. Looking for a night of racing? Absolutely. We are doing well. The first port of call here is to let everybody know that we're running on the national circuit at Donington Park. We're not doing that extra little bit over the back of the circuit, down to the Melbourne hairpin and the like. We are doing the sprint circuit. For 3 races, it's 3.16 kilometres, 31 degrees. Hang on, they're surely taking the proverbial for oh no, they're talking about the track temperature. 31 degrees is all right for the track temperature, 21 the ambient. That's still probably stretching the friendship a little bit for this time of the year. May 2, 2024, May 2. Of course, the first time that we've gone racing on the platforms of the GSRC on a Thursday night in the month of May. 7 km/h winds, and we're at about 11:15 in the morning as the clock ticks over at the end of the qualifying session here. 43% humidity as well. Now, the second leg of the doubleheader tonight for you folks, I reneged to mention it. We're off to the circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, to the historic configuration, and that should be an absolute belter for Super Formula Light's first sprint round of the season. Round 3, grid for race 1 looks like this. Sam Chapman, Trent Lavis, the front row. Tim Harris, Adam Lavis, the second row. Glenn Setter, Riddell and Sean McQuillan, the third row. Sean McKenzie and Garen Batten, the fourth row. Ryan Tate and Luke Turner, the fifth row. Just getting word through the late breaking news and mail is that Joe Baldwin's still driving home, hence why he's not on the grid here. We might catch up with him when he does arrive home via KFC, no doubt, knowing trucker. Kevin Henderson and Phil King, the 6th row. Pete Matson and Chris Stark, the 7th. Steve Murray and also, of course, Tony Baker, the 8th. Aidan Schultz, Brendan Neal on the 9th. Greg Padgett and Greg Heaney, the 10th. Robert McGrath and Lockie Beresford from the back of the field. Kurt Nomenson there as well. So it's a field of 23. Jackson Rayhana, he's also saying that he's going to be pushing it to make the grid tonight as well. He's hoping to make race 2, but that requires him to be logged into the server before qualifying starts. So good luck with that, my friend. Ready to rock and roll here. Just quickly updating you on the championship standings in Spreyton side of Formula V. Glenn Cito's on top, 159. Adam Lavis, 145, 130 for Tony Baker. Joe Baldwin, 128. That's a big blow, him not being on the grid tonight. Sam Chapman, 128. Kevin Henderson, 108. 122, I should say, for Sam Chapman. 108 for Kevin Henderson. 103 for Phil King. Then Ryan Tate, Brendan Neal and Aidan Schultz make up the top 10. Set for a start. Thursday night motorsport on the platforms. The Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We're racing from Donington Park tonight for Spreyton side of Formula V. Let's go to work. He's got the support crew on the job, Jackson Rayhana. Good boy. Down towards the first corner we go. Beautiful start from Chapo. Fends off Trent Lavis and Adam Lavis to turn 1. The 2 teammates tuck in behind and push Chapman through. Do we all get through cleanly? So far, so good. No KFC anymore for Mr. Baldwin. Apparently the whip's been cracked over there across the Nullarbor. Now, through we go for the first time. McQuillan in 5th place, newbie. Been a big couple of weeks, of course. For those of you that haven't been with us, I was not here last week. Missed Anzac Day. Was down with some friends catching up in Wollongong en route to Wagga for the New South Wales Karting Championships. That was a lot of fun. Chapo's been swamped here. Trent Lavis has gone to the lead. Adam's going to try and go up the outside and take Tim Harris with him. And good to see Tim Harris running the Pulse Tuning colours back behind the wheel. Big night tonight over in Adelaide as well. We'll check in with everything. Have a look at how bunched up they are. Isn't that a beautiful sight? Ooh, although there's been trouble at the back. There has been trouble at the back because that pack of 12 should have been 25. Anyway, round we go. Main straight, 1 lap in the books. So, yes. First question answered was that we're running on the short shoot here at Donington, the national circuit, not the international Grand Prix course. Here's Brendan Nealon going into the back. Oh dear. I think that might have been Greg Heaney he got into the side of. Sam Stride didn't start. Lockie Beresford is not showing up on my timing screen either. So we're down to 22 from the outset here. Trent Lavis leading the way. Sam Chapman there into second spot, and Adam Lavis is third. Very good evening to you, Daniel Correa-Sar. Little birdie tells me that you got caught napping literally last night.
I did indeed. I had everything ready to go, set for the broadcast. Had about 30 minutes to 45 up my sleeve, and yeah, I ended up passing out in my computer chair. So I do apologise for everyone at home that there was no broadcast for the production car and GT4. That is on me. So I will have to start investing in a coffee maker for this computer room of mine. Try and keep myself alert for the broadcast days.
I don't think coffee maker has anything to do with it, mate. I think the chair's just too comfortable.
It's pretty comfortable.
I think we need to work on that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's actually a really good observation. Yeah, the chair is quite comfortable. I will admit, because it reclines all the way back, so it's just begging me to go to sleep.
Absolutely. Down to turn one again. Lavis controlling this race nicely at the moment. Chapman there in second spot. Lavis is third. Harris is fourth. So, I mean, it's somewhat appropriate. I mean, obviously last week we were paying our respects to the Anzacs on what is the most important day on our calendar, Anzac Day. Of course, there was plenty of great footy on and plenty of two-up played right around the country. Yesterday, and considering we weren't on air last night, it's probably a good opportunity for me to acknowledge that this week's been all about acknowledging 30 years since the passing of Ayrton Senna, and also Roland Ratzenberger at the San Marino Formula One Grand Prix. The commemorations, the tributes, the stories of that day in 1994, or for that day in 1994, have been doing the rounds this week. It still sticks in the minds of many that were there on that day, not least those that were watching on right around the world, not least those of us that have grown up after that, knowing about the sport, loving it and appreciating it, and just how far safety measures have come as a result of the events of that weekend. So we tip our hat once more to Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna. And of course, Netflix has a new Senna series. Oh, trouble at the back. Netflix has a new Senna series coming up in the coming months as well, so keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, Adam Lavis is there up on the inside of Sam Chapman to push Trent Lavis through. And it's a Lavis 1-2 at the moment. Chapman gets a run around the outside, goes back to second, looks to take McQuillan with him. We've had a little bit of trouble at the back. There was an incident involving a few different cars. Chris Stark parked up out of business already. We're down to 21. Brendan Neal on the last of the train there at the moment after a transit down through pit lane. And if I go back towards the front of the field here, and I apologise, my live timing screen's decided to chuck a wobbly on me. We'll have a look at what happened to Robert McGrath here.
Oh, too much curb.
We'll also have a look. Yeah, way too much curb, especially around here. Greg Heaney, we were talking about him getting caught up in an incident earlier as well with one of the Pulse tuning boys over the back, either Luke Turner or Tony Baker. So there's been a few protagonists that we normally see a little bit further up the field getting caught up in drama. That's the problem with Formula V. Everybody's so tightly bunched up and packed that you're bound to find trouble occasionally. Big night in South Australia, of course. I'll keep you up to date with scores from the Derby, the showdown between Port Adelaide and Adelaide. A huge crowd, a sellout crowd at the Adelaide Oval on a Thursday night. It's Panthers v Bunnies in the NRL tonight as well. So a huge Thursday night of sport. We'll go around the grounds as often as we can throughout the course of the evening. Can't take your eyes off this at the moment. It's lap 5. And we're in the end of the 6 minute of play. Look at them now. The elbows are out. They're really starting to go to work here. Henderson and Matson swapping place on the circuit behind this battle we're watching at the moment. And this battle is 7 deep at the front. Sean McKenzie, the last of the cars on the train there. Matson and Henderson still arguing over the same piece of real estate behind them. And they've got, I think it might be Garen Batten along for the ride there as well. Everybody else is pretty well spread out as a result of earlier incidents. So McQuillan there in 5th place. Rodella McKenzie 6th and 7th. Chapman in between the two Lavis boys, and Tim Harris, the man that started 3rd on the grid, is sitting there in 4th place at the moment.
You really haven't haven't been able to separate these top 7 here. This has been really...
And if they don't make
short,
you won't.
a bit wide.
Jeez, at the moment we talk about the field not separating, McQuillan does himself no favours whatsoever. And will fall to almost the back of the train there. Slots in behind Glenn Riddell in 6th place now. Lavis! Adam down the inside of Chapo. Again, Chapo looking to get the run on the outside of the corner, and does so. So Chapo's found a comfortable sweet spot there for the moment. This is lap 6. 1 minute 23, the lap times so far, the fastest lap times. Now, if we're having a look at that mathematically, we're going 3 laps every 4 minutes. So, or 3 laps every 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So that's 8:20, that's 9. We should get back to the line to start the 8th lap of this race with about 15 seconds to spare on the clock. I'm not convinced that this time by the line is the last one. Round they come. 8:03, 8:04. Keep an eye on that clock. There should not be a white flag in the air this time by. We should get round again for one more after this one. So 2 to go at the line as they hit the last sequence of corners now. The right, the left, the main straight. Now Lavis thinking very tactfully up the outside of Chapman. He's seen Sam do it enough times now, and look at the floodgates open on Chapo. He's a sitting duck. He's been absolutely swamped. 2 to go at Donington. Chapo has fallen back to 4th place. Up there on the inside goes Riddell. Lavis comfortably holds on to 2nd now. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. There was no fooling him a 3rd time round. Adam Lavis, after letting Chapo hang around the outside for much of the race thus far to get the run out of turn 1, said, no, you're not doing that this time round. I'm going to hang you on the inside and take the spot away from you. Very nicely done. Lavis, Riddell, Chapman, Harris. Then McQuillan and McKenzie up the hill. Trouble behind them for Henderson, Batten and Matson. We'll get back to them in a moment. They're all showing off track alerts there momentarily. All hanging 2 wheels in the dirt, no doubt. White flag goes in the air this time by. And it will be Tim Harris sitting there in 5th at the moment, looking for a way through. Overtaking opportunities haven't been the easiest to find here at Donington Park. It's a very fast circuit. If you don't make a mistake, the train, remains long, but it's very hard to separate them. It's very hard to get them dicing and dueling. Gloves might come off this time round because the white flag's in the air. Let's go. One more time around at Donington. Barty actually doing his job tonight. Nice to see he's come back from the holiday that I've been on as well. Down to turn 1. The clock expires now. We're into overtime.
Oh, he's boxed him in. There's contact there, but it was clean. And who's that? That was Riddell on the side there. So Sam Chapman and Riddell side by side. Lavis trying to box them out. It's obviously trying to go around the outside of turn 1. Tends to put you into the dirt and grass, which is exactly what Riddell did there, and has dropped back 2 positions now. He's dropped back down to P7. Yeah.
7th. Yep. So once you're hung out to dry here, you're a sitting duck. Oh, look at this. Pardie, that was close. Chapman forced his way down on the inside of Lavis, and Harris is there as well. Now, I apologise. I'm losing Daniel Correa-Sar's feed here momentarily. I've got it back. Hopefully it'll stay there for the run to the checkered flag. We're riding with Chapman. Chapman has somehow come from nowhere to find himself in 2nd. He was 3rd, 4th, 5th a few moments ago. He's going to be a very comfortable 2nd on the run to the line. Lavis has got this one in a canter. He's accelerated away to a 2.5 advantage. Lavis chalks up victory number 1 of the weekend at Donington Park. Very nicely done. Chapman edges out Lavis, Harris, McQuillan, McKenzie and Riddell was a photo. Then Tate, Henderson and Batten, with Turner coming home in 11th. Geez, it was tame for the first 6 laps.
It was very much just a conga line going around Donington. And then once they started to dwindle down to those last handful of laps, it really did turn up the heat. As we said, just going on the outside there of turn one was really proving to be the bad line, because you were trying to keep your foot in it, and then it would just drag you all the way out. You could see that happen to Chapman and Lavis, lap in, lap out, and as you pointed out, Lavis caught him out on that, and the chicane before coming up to that start-finish line made Sam go to the outside, which slowed him down coming up to that first turn, and then managed to get ahead. Unfortunately, in the laps that preceded that, Adam ended up dropping back only by 0.04. So,
wow. Now we invert the field entirely. Forget about Beresford, because he didn't play a role in that first race. I don't think you'll find. So Chris Stark will hopefully lead us away from the front row. If not, it'll be that second row of Brendan Nealon and Robert McGrath. Then third row, Greg Heaney, Phil King, Kurt Normanson and Aidan Schultz. The fourth row, and then Greg Padgett and Pete Matson. Over the page, Steve Murray, Tony Baker, Luke Turner, Garen Batten and Kevin Henderson take us back to 15th. And then Ryan Tate, Glenn Sedder-Adele, Sean McKenzie, Sean McQuillan, Tim Harris, Adam Lavis, Sam Stride, Sam Chapman, Trent Lavis. So we're ready to fire. Race 2 of the night. Normally, when Trent Lavis is in town, he's always a contender in Spreyton side of Formula V. Let's see what he can do from the rear of the grid here in the invert. This could be chaotic. Let's go to work. Both the Lavises are very handy when it comes to Formula V. Now they've got to follow each other through the field. Let's see. We get to the first corner. Lavis dives deep down the inside, does Adam. Then bails out of it. We're good so far. We're clean on the run out of turn 1. 2. Down the hill. Oh. I'm just having a look there. Greg Padgett was in the grass doing some whippersnipping. Hasn't cost him too much. He's just trying to stay out of the way, I think. Trying to keep it clean. Trying to not get caught up in somebody else's garbage. Across the curb they go. What a great shot that is. Kevin Henderson in 10th place. Adam Lavis has moved his way up into 19th. Trent Lavis is 20th. Off goes Glencino! Off goes Glencino! The first candidate bites the dust. Let's have a look at it.
Oh, all on his own, yeah.
All on his own. Yep, and did not get any help at all. Unlucky. Down to the end of the opening lap again. Uh-oh, trouble. Final corner.
Oh, my Lord.
It's chaotic.
Oh.
It's a parking lot at turn 1. Turn 12, I should say, the final quarter. Jesus.
Oh, no.
Have a look at it. They have gone everywhere. And it has just shaken up the order like you wouldn't believe. We only had 20 starters in that race. Mackenzie's had to come to pit lane. Tim Harris was involved. One of the Lavis boys as well. That was Trent.
Oh.
Adam got through to 11th in all of that. There was more carnage with the rejoins than anything else. Mackenzie ended up on the tow rope into pit lane. There
he tried to go.
Who was that ended up in the wall? Who the hell ended up in the wall?
I think that was Sean McKenzie. I think he tried to spin to go back into the pit lane. Yeah, it was. Tried to go back into the pit lane and ended up hitting that tyre barrier just on the outside. It was interesting because it seemed like he came from the back end of the circuit. Like he was coming around that big loop as when you do the full extended. But he must have just tried to avoid that massive carnage that we saw, the chicane there. So many people drop back. Look at the positions gained by some of these guys. Sean McQuillan, 14 positions up. Adam Lavis, 13. Sam Chapman just hit 13 as well. Tony Baker up 10. But if you're Robert McGrath, 15 lost. Actually, yes, of the people that are racing, yes. So 15 lost. He's the biggest one there. Oh, someone else got
more trouble again.
That's
Hendo's going to get through to third and Pistol's in the wall.
Yeah, that's not sure exactly how that occurred. Jump onto
and
the
he's taking
replay
McQuillan
here.
with him. Trent Lavis is on the tow rope into pit lane. So too Garen Batten.
The curb. the curb. Yeah.
Every time. Every time.
Then try to back out. Oh, Sean's trying to avoid him.
Yep.
So hold on a minute.
Pit lane's a parking lot at the moment. Lavis, Batten, Murray, Matson, McQuillan.
See, you can see Sean trying to avoid. Bang. Nowhere to go.
See you later. Yep. Came up on it blind. Now, just quickly too, folks. Adelaide out to an 11-point lead already over Port Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval. 18 plays 7 at the moment. 3 goals straight, place 1-1. Here's Kevin Henderson in 3rd place at the moment, fending off Greg Heaney, Sam Chapman and Adam Lavis. They are 5.1 seconds down on the 2 teammates, Baker and Nealon. It's pulse tuning all the way here at the moment. Forget about the rest of them. It's pulse boys, 1 and 2 in what should be in about an 11-lap race here. And based on the fact that the first race was 8 laps over just on 11 minutes. Whoa, more trouble! Greg Heaney got into the side of Kevin Henderson. Off the track he goes. Heaney wasn't able to pull it up. Backs out of it. Rejoins down the order in 11th. Costly moments here. Luke Turner sitting 6th at the moment. This is probably got to be one of Luke Turner's better runs in Spreyton side of Formula V, just quietly. Don't want to put the mocker on him, but need to point it out.
Yep, 7 positions gained from the start. Looks like he managed to navigate his way through the chaos quite well. But as you said, 5 seconds the gap for those front 2 from the rest of the pack here. Now, if Tony and Nealon don't fight, and it seems like that is what's going to happen because Tony has managed to make his way to the front of the grid and has a 1-second gap to Nealon behind. If they don't fight, then they'll be able to hold that lead because that is too far back for there to be any sort of draft advantage. Yeah. But if they do fight, then I was about to say Kevin, but it looks like Sam Chapman has now gotten up into P3. So Sam Chapman will be able to close that down. We've seen it happen before, so we know it can happen again. But for now, they seem pretty safe. However, this is a 15-minute race and we're only 5.5 minutes in, so we'll see how it progresses.
Can I just also highlight the bleeding obvious that we always knew we were in for some sort of drama when we inverted the field wholly on a circuit that is not known for overtaking opportunities. The top 10's about to get inverted again. We may as well call it another reverse grid race because of the amount of contenders that are outside the top 10 with no hope of getting back in because of their troubles that they've run into in the opening 4 laps thus far. We're on to lap 5, and this race is alive and well for Adam Lavis, who's found his way ahead of Sam Chapman and Kevin Henderson. Ryan Tate and Phil King are in behind that. So to Tim Harris, Luke Turner and Glenn Cito. That battle goes all the way back to 11th and Curtin Homanson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3 of them are Pulse boys. How good. Harris, Turner and Riddell.
It's one of those characteristics of Formula V racing that makes it so good. Ooh, they take a bit of an adventure there, but get back on without an issue. It's just how close these cars can race. It's sometimes misleading. I've said it many times before, and I'll say it again. You tend to get baited in by thinking that faster classes produce better racing, which isn't necessarily not true, but for the most part, you actually get more exciting racing with the slower classes. You tend to find that they're willing to battle harder because I guess maybe you could argue that the consequences aren't as dire. But yeah, you always see cracker racing in these lower categories, and yeah, Formula V is absolutely no exception. Oh, did he just cut him off then? He didn't, so lucky there. I thought that Phil King had just cut across Tim Harris there, and maybe they got into contact. They didn't, though, so luckily for them. And we can see now that this back half of the front is now almost 3 seconds behind that front pack. So it looks like we've split into 3. We've got, actually, we might even be split into 4, considering the times now. Tony Baker's 3.3 seconds ahead of his teammate Brendan Nealon in P2. And Adam Lavis has brought down that gap to 2.9 seconds. So yeah, it is really segmented down at the front.
Yep, it's very much, oh geez, It's very much falling back into the clutches of Tony Baker. He's got this one in a canter at the moment. Nealon needs to get a wriggle on because they are slowly but surely reeling him in. Nealon, Lavis and Henderson. Lavis, Henderson and Chapman, I should say. That's that battle pack we're watching there. Tim Harris and Phil King arguing over the same piece of real estate behind them as well. Chapo opts to run out on his lonesome, and Adam Lavis is moving across to cover that off. Hendo, all of a sudden, trying to fend off Chapman here on the run to turn one as well. 9 minutes gone. We've got 6 minutes to go. Excuse me, I've got a frog in the throat already this evening. It's Thursday night motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. It's night 4 of week 3 and turn 2 of the season. Yep, already into week 3. Can you believe that? And it's all but done. I'll be back in the chair on Monday night as well. Hope you enjoyed Monday Night Motorsport earlier this week in my absence. I've got a couple more absences coming up in due course with family commitments and work commitments and other things. But no, very much looking forward to what's ahead for the rest of the season, including Super Formula Light sprint racing tonight from Barcelona and the invert situation that'll happen there in race 2 too. I mean, that racing's been off the chart already this season, but with an invert, whatever it is for that, I don't know whether it's top 10, 15 or full, but that will throw the cat amongst the pigeons and really shake things up just nicely. That racing turned on the fireworks at Monza in drying conditions. Now we'll wait and see what Catalunya produces. 10 minutes gone, 5 minutes to go. We're on to lap 8. We should get 11 in here. It is Tony Baker leading Brendan Nealon. Ryan Tate slips behind Tim Harris, Sam Chapman, Kevin Henderson and Adam Lavis. Happy to follow each other through the corner. Phil King is in 9th place at the moment, having dropped off the battle between Cito and Tate. And Normanton and also Turner, 10th and 11th. Off goes Phil King. Phil King's lost out here. And look at Adam Lavis under pressure, putting the pressure on Brendan Nealon to get through. So they've absolutely reeled Nealon in just whilst I was looking at the timing screen. I can't look at 2 screens at once, folks. I don't have the peripherals to do so. What about that? So they've reeled Nealon in and he's become a sitting duck. He's 4th and under serious pressure from Chapman here. Nealon, all of a sudden, a certain second goes begging. Lavis now staring down a top 2 finish. Got to defend Henderson, got to defend Nealon, got to defend Chapman. Tate, Harris, Riddell, Turner and Normanton make up the top 10. King's now dropped outside as well. Not sure what happened to Phil, but Normanton and Turner got through in pretty quick succession.
Oh, yeah, wow, look at the exit from Sam Chapman here. I'm sure he'll try and hold. Now, the only benefit here for Brendan Nealon is that he's going to have that inside line, which means if he wants to, he can force the issue. It looks like he's just going to drop back, though. Maybe, maybe not. Here we go. So we know, characteristically, it will force him out into turn 1. Sam's going to use all the track and then some. Plenty. Moves there in the P4. So Nealon went from 2nd in this race all the way down to 5th. His pace is well and truly off the rest of those guys at the front. I'm not sure if that's caused by damage or not. I don't remember seeing him in an incident. I believe he was well clear of all the ones that happened. But in any case, down to P5. His teammate Tony Baker, though, 5.5 seconds down the road. I have to say, most likely got this in the bag.
Indeed. Baker's opened up a merit-type margin. It runs in the stable. So Chapman is sitting there in 4th place. From the rear of the grid, all but 1 spot, remembering he was 2nd across the line in race 1. Trent Lavis has had an absolute shocker, but has worked his way back up to 12th. There goes Kevin Henderson! And that's bizarre!
I think
He's
he
dropped
got
down to 8. I think he either got some help from Chapman.
Yep, there it is.
I was going to say either that or he caught the grass, but it was Chapman that was on the grass at the point of contact. So I think Chapman can kiss 3rd place goodbye, because I don't think Race Control are going to have a bar of that. Oh dear. Unlucky. Henderson had the line. Henderson had right of way. Chapman had to make his own arrangements and wasn't able to do so. White flag in the air next time by, mate.
So yeah, Tony Baker, fantastic lead at the front. Obviously, with that collision there between Chapman and Henderson, Lavis has also now got a nice, comfortable gap. So he's 1 second down the road. The closest battle is the one that's on your screen. That is the 3-car of Tate, Harris, and Riddell. And there's also a car. There's one other battle happening at the back there. That's McGrath and Paget. And it looks like Phil King is also catching up to the back of Luke Turner there for P8. So as it evolves, they'll come across the line, and as you said, I believe it'll be white flag. You are correct. There we go. So there goes Tony Baker to start the final lap of sprint race number 2.
Daylight between him and the rest of the pack, Daniel.
It's
This
huge.
is going to be an emphatic win for Tony Baker, and a rare one at that. Great to see. Provided he holds onto it, of course. I don't want to put the mocker on him. Lavis, Chapman, Nealon now, and Tate. We're riding with Cedo. He's got Tim Harris right ahead of him, and so too Ryan Tate. This is a 3-way fight for 5th. Can Cedo get something in the slipstream down the roller coaster, down the back straight? We'll find out.
So Glenn is getting some ridiculous speed at the back here, but it seems as though his pack chances are being thwarted by Harris ahead. So it seems as though he gets much better angle from the 2 at the front. Tate could be acting as a cork, just holding these boys up. I'm not too sure, but in any case, here we are in the back stretch, and it looks like Tony Baker is coming through. Final turn now, so he will come across the line to take the win here for sprint race number 2 of the night.
Nice performance from Tony Baker.
Oh, Chapman to the line.
5-second victory. Chapman on Lavis got it, but I think, again, I think Chapman has a case to answer with the race control. Then Nealon, Harris, Riddell, Tate, Henderson, and then Phil King Turner got home for 10th. Lavis 11th, misses out on the invert. That's really unlucky for Trent. But watch him come through from position number 11, following either Tony or Adam through. Wow, that was entertaining in the end. It really was. Garen Batten's fallen off on the final lap as well. Dropped down to 16th position as Murray comes across the line in 15th, Batten 16th, and McKenzie 17th. Pete Matson will be the last of the finishers down in 18th place. No Greg Heaney, no Sean McQuillan. Will be interesting to see if they rejoin the grid for race 3. Oh dear. There are the results for you, and it was that was race 1, of course. Lavis from Chapman from Lavis, Harris, McQuillan, new name to the server, McKenzie, Riddell, Tate, Henderson, Batten. Then Turner, Baker, Murray, Matson, Paget, Schultz, Nominson, King, Heaney, and McGrath. Heat 2, that fell the way of Tony Baker from Adam Lavis, Sam Chapman, Brendan Nealon, Tim Harris, Glenn Setter, Ryan Tate, Kevin Henderson, Phil King, Luke Turner, and then Trent Lavis, Kurt Nominson, Greg Paget, Robert McGrath, Steve Murray, Garen Batten, Sean McKenzie, Pete Matson, Greg Heaney, and also Sean McQuillan. Those 2 guys classified as a D and F. We couldn't do what we do here without the great support of people like Spreyton Siders, Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Lobesy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. Big thanks to all of those people for coming on board once more. Don't forget, still got Super Formula Light to come. The Enduro is next Sunday as well on Mother's Day. That, I believe, is from Laguna Seca. So plenty of great racing to come on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And still a race to go in Spreyton Cider Formula V. There are the championship standings. That's how tight it is at the top. These are provisional, of course. Yes, Kurt Nominson pointing out the obvious. Heat 1, running solo. Yep, riding solo. There you go. That's how tight it is in the championship fight at the moment. Gonzalo and Adam Lavis, Sam Chapman, Tony Baker, Kevin Henderson in close tow, but the results of tonight not helping Joe Baldwin, of course, not in the server, not in business. We'll keep that all updated as the season rolls on. They are provisional as they stand on your screen at the moment. Hello to Brett Bradbury, a very moist, lacking Sunshine Coast, by the sounds of that. I've never really understood the use of the word sunshine in a place where it rains so much. I mean, seriously, they call it the Sunshine State, and I mean, I've never known rain to be as heavy, as relentless, and as intense as it is up here in Queensland when it hits. It just comes, dumps, and goes. Anyway, all right. At least you're able to fly north and not have to wind the clock back 112 years, Brett. The joys of driving and travelling to the Sunshine State, the alleged Sunshine State, during the winter months. Autumn, winter, and early spring, before, of course, we step back into the Stone Age on the first Sunday of October. Luke Turner and Phil King, the front row. Kevin Henderson, Ryan Tate, the second. Glenn Setter, Riddell, Tim Harris, the third. Brendan Neal and Sam Chapman, the fourth. Adam Lavis and Tony Baker, the fifth. Let me know how I get on tonight, folks. Filling up your bingo card. I'll do my best. I haven't been here for a while. I've got lost time to make up for. Set for a start. Race 9 of the championship, round 3. Spreyton side of 4 with a V. Let's go! Barney's response time on waving that green flag's just a little bit slow, if I'm being critical, if I'm being honest. To the first corner we go. Luke Turner's got the jump. Phil King hung out to dry. Hendo trying to get down the inside. Guancito's there as well. We've got trouble down the back of the field. We've got Peyton Matson's dropped down a spot. Garen Batten's dropped down 1. Kurt Normanson's dropped down 2. So a little bit of argument towards the back. Adam Lavis, Trent Lavis. Trent Lavis caught up in that. Sam Chapman as well. That was brewing. Oh dear.
Yeah, that was unfortunate there. So Brendan Leelon just came a little bit too much to the right, and then Adam had so much speed coming into that small dip.
Phil King off the road. Now what's happened there to Phil? Is he doing a redress or something? I'm not sure. That's bizarre to see Phil off where he is. No, he's going to do this all on his own, I think. And off goes Phil at the right-hander. Oh, he's just gone too deep and hung it under the grass. There's no recovery from there. This is what happened to Adam Lavis. He was squirrely into the corner, got the pulse boy on the outside. Now we've got more carnage towards the end of the lap. There's carnage coming down the hill onto the main straight again. Garen Batten's gone to pit lane. McQuillan and Padgett are off the road. It was Greg Padgett. He was one of the first involved on scene there coming into the last sequence of corners. So all this is played out somewhere in the chicane. Oh dear. Somewhere in between the chicane and the braking zone coming onto the main straight. Batten back out. Padgett, McQuillan still stationary. McQuillan may as well just park up and call it a night, I'd say. A drop round if ever there was one. Whoa, Tim Harris now. We've got a 5-way fight for the lead. There are 3 pole shooting boys in this, plus Ryan Tate and Kevin Henderson. Turner, Riddell and Harris. Ravis is only 1.3 seconds away and Tony Baker's going with him. So if those two can latch on here at some point as well, we'll have a 7-way fight for the lead. Big opening first quarter at the showdown at the Adelaide Oval. 28 seconds to play. It's 5 straight 30 playing 3-4-22. Adelaide leading Port. Crows leading Power. Across the line at the end of lap 2. Kevin Henderson leads from Luke Turner, Glenn Riddell, Ryan Tate and Tim Harris. Here goes Riddell. Big sun down the inside of 1. Goes with Kevin Henderson.
Oh, so you get both?
Wants to get Hendo as well. 2 for the price of 1.
Wow.
Hendo will look to fight back on the outside, though. This is not over yet. Hendo hanging tough, sticking there, staying there. Can't do it any longer. Riddell covers him off. Riddell goes to the lead.
Great move.
Hendo to second, Turner to third, then Tate, Harris, Lavis, and Baker.
Yeah, very smooth move there on the inside. Obviously saw that he had more speed than the others. Usually, as you have alluded to, usually you can fight coming back on from that outside line, but Hendo seemed to not have the same momentum, so he had no choice but to fall back in line. Only lost one position out of that, so that's good. And of course, still plenty of time left on the clock to go. But yeah, I'd be smiling if I was Glenn there, because that was actually a really good setup and also execution of the move later on down the corner. And have a look at Trent Lavis now too.
So Lavis is in the fight. And that's exactly what I thought could happen too, Daniel. As soon as Lavis and Baker were able to latch back on here, we've got a 7-weight fight for the lead.
Yeah, so Trent got shafted, let's say, on that second race. He got caught up with the big incident, and everyone else sort of kind of made it through. Whereas in this time, it seems like he's the one that's kept it clean. His brother is the one that ended up causing the first of the incidents at the back there. And of course, he's paying for that down in P16, 7 positions down from where he started this race. But looking at these gaps, I'm liking what I'm seeing. P1 to P7, everyone's in close proximity here. It looks like a bit of a leapfrog, at least at the front end, but everyone's keeping it clean, so I'll assume well that they'll race ragged right to the end.
So still a fight in 7, and Baker's at the back of the train, the race 2 winner. So race 1 went to Trent Lavis, and he's in this fight. Race 2 went to Tony Baker, he's in this fight. If any one of the other 5 in the fight win this race, 3 different winners for the night.
Deep on the brakes.
Hendo, Lavis, a big send to 3rd.
Oh, lovely. Lovely.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, high risk move that, because these cars get really unsettled if you put too much load on those fronts. And so Trent did that to perfection. You can see Riddell going to take the apex, cuts off the attack there from Lavis, but he still manages to shoot up into P2. So Henderson loses one. He's going to be careful though. Turner's on that outside. And remember, you don't have body panels to cover those wheels. You're going to be really careful when you're driving side by side. Things can go pear-shaped very quickly, but for now it looks like they've done this really well. There's been slight adjustments in the positions, but still the train of 7 continues.
The longer it continues, the more entertaining it becomes. And then somewhere close to the end of what we expect will be 11 laps, the gloves will be off. Lavis to the lead down the inside of Riddell. Hendo looking to capitalise on that as well. Have the floodgates open. Here is Riddell about to go back to 3rd. No! Hendo tucks back in. Are we right on board with Luke Turner now, who might insist on pushing Hendo down the inside lane or taking his own route? No, he's happy to follow Hendo for now. No real big sends this time by. Ryan Tate is the big send down the inside. Ryan Tate! Jeez.
Oh, no, he spun it.
There goes. There goes Luke Turner. Tate got hung out in all of that. Luke Turner's on the tow rope to pit lane. We've now got 2 distinct battles of 3. Tim Harris, Tony Baker, Ryan Tate have lost out in that one. Trying to take evasive action. The incident involving Luke Turner and later Ryan Tate. This is how it happened. It was a big send from Tate. That part was fine. That was well played. But Turner got the curb.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there. So nobody's fault, of course. It was just Turner going really deep, taking a little too much curb, but unsettled the handling of the car. He started to spin, and then unfortunately, Tate driving on the outside line on the right side, couldn't quite avoid him. He did touch the wheel there, and so I'm not sure if he's got damage or not, but for both of those guys, they will drop down. Tate dropped down to P6, but Turner is, well, he's showing us out, so it looks like he's towed, and he's probably called it for this one. We go again. Train of 7 is now a train of 3. Kevin Henderson at the back in P3, Glenn Riddell P2, Trent Lavis P1 and leading the race. And just based on those lap times here as they come across the line, 122.8 there for Trent Lavis 122.9. Do my eyes deceive me, or did Glenn Riddell and Kevin Henderson just do the same lap time?
Well, I got 122.909 for Riddell and 122.905 for Henderson.
Okay.
So 4 1,000ths in favour of Hendo.
There we go. Yeah, mine only go to the point.
Tim Chapman as well.
Yeah, so mine only go to the second decimal. That's why they're showing as the same, but never mind. But that just tells you that they're driving pretty much mirror image. Except it does seem, and I am glad to be proven wrong by Glenn if that's what he's going to do right now. No, he falls back in line. It does seem as though they're playing a little bit more patient than they were when there was 7. So it looks like maybe they've realised that the pressure's off at the back.
We're only on lap 7 here. 4 laps to go. It's been hard fought. There's no doubt about that. Lavis has found his way back to the front. Riddell and Henderson are there as well. If Riddell or Henderson can get by Trent Lavis, then that'll deny him a double up.
Oh, that's Harris to back.
Double. Harris drops to 6th now. Sean McKenzie will reel him in and maybe make it 7th. We'll wait and see as he gets back going.
Yep.
Oh dear. Yep. Every bloody time. Now, Adam Lavis has been to pit lane already in this race. He's the best placed of those that have transited the lane that are still running. Luke Turner out of business, and Sean McQuillan may as well be. So we've got 17 still running out there from what started as a 23, 24 car field. Trent Lavis, Glenn Cito, then Kevin Henderson, Tony Baker, Ryan Tate, Tim Harris, Sean McKenzie, and Phil King. Chapman on the comeback trail, trying to get back inside the top 10, has managed to do so. Next target, Robert McGrath. So it was the incident for Luke Turner that brought McKenzie back up into 7th, and now Tim Harris has fallen off this top 5 fight. In fact, it's now only a 3-way fight for the lead. There are no other battles in the top 5. The next battle pack is 6th. Tim Harris with Sean McKenzie and Phil King down the main straight. 3 laps to go. And very little in the way of overtime coming up here as well. That whole sleep talk from Daniel Corriasar earlier, that might be contagious. I'm not going to lie though. Like, as many of you know, I was in Wagga over the weekend. There's been a lot of driving done in the last few days. Stopped in Taree for lunch the other day. Drove home into the night. Got here at 11 o'clock. Pretty much went straight to bed. Have not had a decent sleep since getting home. Keep getting woken up by dogs barking at neighbours and barking at cars and barking at wind. And then had a niece of mine call me this morning, young Harper. I'm sick. I'm not going to school. Talk to me on FaceTime. Okay, no worries. Just ruined my sleeping, kiddo. Tried to tell her I was still asleep at everything. She didn't believe me. I was trying to get back to sleep. That's the problem. That just didn't happen. Round they come, onto the main straight. Hendo. They're in 3rd place. Cito is 2nd. Lavis the leader. They have bolted. Look at the daylight they've got between themselves and the rest of the pack. It's half the length of the main straight now. 21.5 degrees ambient, 30 degrees on track. Round 3, race 3. Week 3, night 4, term 2. Platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is Spreyton side of Formula V. This and one more to go. Time running out. 2 minutes left on the clock. Anyone's guess which one of these 3 gentlemen wins it from here, but I think Lavis is controlling it beautifully.
Oh, I think he's going around the outside.
Riddell fancies his chances on the inside at the top of the hill, and he gets it. Cito to the lead. Now here's Hendo, having a bo peep, can't get it done. It is Cito, it's Lavis, it's Henderson.
Now, I wonder if that was a strategic move from Trent.
I think so.
Because it seemed like it was really easy. Trent's going to try and use the draft, but he's got to remember Henderson can box him in. This is the danger! That's the danger that you take when you try to do a move like that in the P2. Hendo's going to be able to take him. What a move! But I don't know if he's going to be able to get into the line. What? I was acting as if it was the final lap. It's only a white flag.
White flag in the air. Let's go one more time around. Lavis to the outside on Henderson, trying to get by on the run of turn one. Can Lavis get back to second? No, he can't. This is Riddell's to lose. It's Hendo's to win. Lavis, is he too far back to have a crack now? Down to the curves. The roller coaster. Right, left, right. They'll barely touch the brake here at the second apex. Back on the gas. Through. They'll kink it left and head up the hill once more.
Here we go.
Lavis with a massive run up the hill. Hendo couldn't get out quick enough to cut him off. He goes to the outside of everybody. Lavis wants to lick this at the top of the hill. Will. Throw it a little bit wide. Gavin it up. Cito will try and get down the inside as they get to the right-hander, but Lavis is still there right around the outside and has got it done. Now the run down the hill. Hendo's right there as well. Lavis defends the inside, tries to keep Hendo at bay. Riddell goes to the outside. Hendo's going to lose out completely here. Hendo down the inside, can't get by, and somehow strategic gamesmanship pays off dividends for Trent Lavis. Second to Hendo edging out Cito. 0.35 covered the top three. That's how it's done on a Thursday night. They saved the best until last. What about that from Trent Lavis? 2 wins for him tonight. I mean, we were rooting for that 3 different winners in as many races caper. We love sharing the spoils here on a Thursday night for Spreyton Cider. However, you cannot deny the racecraft and the magnificent work of Trent Lavis right there.
So he sets it up.
What about the run?
Shoots it on the inside, realises he's got the speed. Glenn tries to hold that inside line as tight as he can, but the speed is just too great from Trent. Now, of course, the last time this happened, it was Glenn that got past Trent, but then you leave yourself vulnerable on that final back stretch. And then Hendo thought ahead, tried to shoot up on the inside there. Trent moves across and boxes Hendo in. Now, what's interesting is that Glenn can't get a draft. He can't move over to get a draft, so that prevents him from getting ahead. Trent blocks the only other person that could do it, comes into the chicane, and absolutely takes a win. It was a masterclass on display. And that's exactly how you want to finish Formula V's on a Thursday.
That's not necessarily a bad approach from Glenn Cito. He beat one corner of the circuit to go on the outside four that you don't want to be on the outside four. I mean, we've seen it work on other sections of the racetrack. Sam Chapman in race 1 was a classic example down at turn 1, but not in that final sequence of corners. Outside suicide in that particular regard. There are the results for you, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't even cover off what happened further back. Tony Baker fought back for 4th. Ryan Tate, Tim Harris, Sean McKenzie, Sam Chapman, Phil King and Steve Murray made up the top 10. The long gaps then back. Nealon, Lavis, Batten and Nominson. Padgett was a lap down. McGrath 3 laps down. Matson, Turner, forget about it. McQuillan and Heaney non-starters. Trent Lavis does join us now to celebrate 2 wins from 3 starts. And I'm not sure what that does for the championship, Trent, but that's not a bad night out, my friend. 76 points in the kitty. It's been hairy and entertaining at the best of times. A very difficult circuit for overtaking. You had to make those moves stick. It's okay when you're at the front of the field, but then you spent races 2 and 3 fighting your way back through. Less said about race 2, the better, but a great way to finish race 3, mate.
Yeah, that was good fun. It's been a while since I've driven the Vs. I think I drove them once last season. Jumped in for a run, and I thought I had a free night tonight. I thought I'd jump in and have a bit of a skid, and that was really good racing. Race 1, race 3, awesome race. Even race 2 was good racing there at the start until I got caught up in that mess there. But yeah, I was actually really good coming back through. Pardon me, back through the field there in race 2. I had to pit, had a damage flag, so that's why I had to pit in race 2, but I managed to crawl back to P11, which was awesome. I was shocked by that.
Indeed. Well, I was going to say P11's not an easy place to move from once you are back there in race 3, for instance. I mean, you want to be part of that invert. You could have benefited, you could have capitalised, you could have been 10th to first. It wasn't to be. But then again, I guess what worked into your favour, mate, is that all the hot shots that would have been first, second, third in a normal progressive grid situation, they were back there with you, so you were able to use them to your advantage, per se.
Yeah, there was a bit of that first lap incident. There was a bit of parting seas, so that was. I pretty much got lucky. I've seen it sort of coming a long way back. I was far enough back to be able to sort of sidestep the lads that came off, and yeah, it's just a bit of luck there helped set me up to be able to hunt down the boys up in front and set some pretty good heaters out there in front. I think we dropped about half a second a lap once I got in front there and just gapped the field, I think.
All right, very nicely done. Donington Park, not the easiest racetrack to master. As I said, tight and difficult for overtaking, but produced good racing in the sense that everybody, when those packs were 5, 6, 7 deep, everybody was, relatively speaking, behaving themselves and staying line astern, nose to tail, mate.
Yeah, that's probably the main reason why race 1 and race 3 for me were so good, is because everyone was just working really well together and being patient and picking their moves, and I think Cito and Hendo were basically using me for a bit of a tow there at the midway through that race, and set themselves up at the end. But unfortunately for them, I seen it coming a mile away, so backed it off and made it happen on the last lap.
And will we see in the V on a more regular basis, mate, or is it just when time allows you to be so?
Usually it's state night Thursdays, so this is actually off for the comedy show with a best mate, so I'm home alone, so that gives me a chance to jump in for a skid. I'd like to jump in the Super Formula Lights, but I don't actually have the car, so I might go have a spicy cola and chill out on the couch and watch the rest of the night from the sidelines.
Mate, to be fair, I would have, if I were you, I would have just put tonight's winnings towards buying a car, but you know.
I'm not that rich, mate.
Now, many happy returns, I believe, in the not too distant future, mate. I believe the barbecue's on at yours on the weekend.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, another lap around the sun. So Monday's actually my birthday, but as you're aware of, we've got a bit of a crew coming around to the old effing Bucking and having a bit of a chill evening under the stars with the bonfire going, so it should be good.
I hadn't forgotten about it. Seeing your name prompted the memory, though, because it has been a busy week as I've been detailing for our audience tonight so far. I don't get out of the North Ipswich Reserve until 6 o'clock on Sunday night, but if I can be there, it'll be sometime around 7:30 Sunday night, mate, and looking forward to it immensely.
We'll be getting warmed up, mate, so more than welcome as always.
I figured that might be the case. Well done, mate. Congratulations. Very nicely done. And enjoy the rest of the night from the couch with that spicy collar, as you say.
Yeah, thanks, gents. Thanks, heaps, and good luck for the rest of the night, and hopefully catch us again soon.
And hopefully we'll see you back on track next week, because as we have a look at the schedule, stick around actually for this trend, have a look at the schedule of what's to come, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at this for a calendar of Formula V. Oh, Algarve International Circuit next stop. I'm away the week after when we go to Sonoma, which is pretty good. Actually, Sonoma's a great circuit. I'm disappointed to be missing that one. Snetterton 300 to follow. Then Virginia. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is always a favourite. Then obviously on to Nick Fodiatis' least favourite course, Sebring. And then a TBA venue for week 10, and there was some praise being handed out in your general direction, Sam Chapman. Not so much for what happened on the circuit tonight, which we'll get to in a moment, but for the way in which the calendar has been put together and the way in which the the race format has been put together, mate. A lot of people enjoying the invert second grid races. Maybe not necessarily the drivers, though.
I'll second that, mate. Top job. That's a really cool list of tracks.
Thank you. Yeah, no, the reverse grid's an interesting one. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. I think probably this track leads a bit more to it, because you can sort of drive off track if you need to avoid something, as sort of I had to a few times. But it's yeah, no, I'm sort of glad at how this track list has turned out, because it's the third time I've done the tracks now, so I was sort of scraping as to what to do next. I'd sort of done all my obvious ones.
Magello.
Actually, I was close to putting Magello on there. Is
Nothing.
Imagine that in the V's, mate.
Nothing
Insane.
subtle about the way in which Trent Lavis is positioning for Magello there, Chapper.
It'd be 3 laps, 3 wide the entire lap. Magello, mate. It'd be wild.
I'm not against it. I'm not against the concept. But I think I've still got a TBA for final round, don't I? So.
Exactly.
I like that. That's a top contender, actually, because Magello was a top pick for this series anyway. It's a great track.
There might only be 1 gear change a lap, but it'll be good.
Oh well, so be it. I mean, yeah, actually, what would there be? Oh, there'll be a few. You've got those chicane sort of areas and that sort of thing. I reckon you'd have at least. Oh, you might even have 4. I reckon it'll have a bit of PI about it, won't it?
Exactly, yeah. And we're all for that.
Well,
I absolutely love it. Now, Chavo, of course, Portimao next week will be absolutely fantastic as well. But let's talk about your night, please. That last race finished 8th, which is exactly where you started. But you've had a couple of incidents along the way. It hasn't been a straightforward night at the office. Have you met up with race control yet after the incident with Hendo in race 2?
No, I haven't. I might speak to Spreyton. My view is it's a racing incident bordering on Hendo. It's sort of swept across pretty last minute, so it's pretty difficult to avoid that going into that sort of zone. But, you know, we'll see, I guess, what comes out of that. We'll probably need to be a bit careful on those ones. But, you know, then, yeah, obviously sorry to Pete as well, because that was sort of just after. The one with Padgett, yeah, there was a few that happened. I think my view is the one with Pete, that's probably on me. I just expect him to go wider than he ended up going, but he got the clearance, so it was his corner to make that decision. But yeah, the other 2 I think were just unfortunate, and I probably avoided a few incidents in their own right by trying to drive off track or something, with people spinning in front as well. So I think I probably did as well as I could round here, but, you know, it's a bit of a lottery, right, when you've got these sort of reverse grids.
You had a typical race that I normally have when I jump in the V's, mate, not tonight. Got pace, get bopped.
Yeah, well, I mean, UT bloody Lavis boys, first race. My God, that was hard.
How good was that? Were you frustrated or what?
You didn't know which way to look, did you, Chavo? Because you had bloody Trent to one side and Adam to the other, and at points they were both in front of you, and I'm not sure they were both behind you at one point, but it could have gone either way. The 3 of you were jerking it out, and it was an instant classic.
Oh, psychological warfare there, I think, in terms of racecraft.
Because I would get past and then, you know, like catch you back up, and then it would sort of all fall apart. Like, oh my God. And then going into that like second to last section, you know, just losing all that pace through the final chicane and having to make it back again. So, but yeah, classic race, that one. It was great.
Keen to watch that one back, actually.
Yeah, I am too. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, right? With the reverse grid the way it is, you do get obviously more breakaways because there's more incidents and there's more drivers that aren't, you know, that similar pace around. So often, you know, like that first race is probably where you have that big battle up front, but then the second and third, you know, you lose sometimes some of those contenders. So that's probably the way up from it. But it changes who the contenders are, so you've got to learn how to drive around everyone. Yeah, good racing tonight. It was unfortunate bits here and there, but yeah, that's the way with these things sometimes.
Indeed. Often a lottery draw, but Trent winning the first race, Tony the second, Trent the third. Good to see Tony Baker get up there and get a win. Doesn't matter if John Merritt's here or not. Those Pulse boys are always in the thick of the action.
Geez, they sure are. Well, I mean, it felt a bit like Pulse boys with the two Labors boys. That was a bit of flashbacks with that. Is, you know, like Bathurst with the Pulse boys and da-da-da-da. But yeah, it's always, I mean, it always changes the ball game when you've got a team of guys up there. And this season is interesting because, you know, John seems to be in and out, not in as often. But he's subbed in some pretty top-tier contenders in his place. So good to see some teams out there with a few guys.
Indeed. What are your thoughts on Portimao?
Well, I still haven't bought it, so we'll see.
Oh, come on, get on to it.
Oh, well, I mean, I bought Barcelona last night, so we're trying that in the SFL now, so bear with me. I'm doing my first lap of the night, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, no, Portimao would be good. It looked good on YouTube. I'm sure it'd be good in the base.
It certainly did look good on YouTube, and having played it on F1 23 and also I think 22 it was on as well. It's not a bad bit of real estate. That being said, I'm not racing out to buy the next EA F1 game just quietly. Fair income.
Who is?
They are horrendous.
How could they screw up such a great opportunity, right? F1 at the peak of its power. And all they could do is make a decent esports scene for about $4, and no, can't do it.
Completely cocked up. Now, we'll have a chat about that one off air, Chapo, because I've got some mixed views on that. And I've been talking to a few people about it in recent weeks, including young Craig Bond down at the Wagga Kart Club last week in junior light and heavy is young Craig, and by G, he had some interesting views on it as well. So if you're a fan of the F1 platform on PlayStation, etc., or not, let us know. Kurt Nomenson's jumped in. Well, mate, less said about your night, the better. What the hell happened to you, please? You couldn't buy like if you tried.
Nah, I don't think I've had as many pair of underpants as I've had tonight in many of the races. It's just dodging that many people spinning in front of me. It was a bit of a crazy night.
Do you have a button bound to like change pants like you do with a visor?
Yeah, exactly.
That's that'd be very Jetsons-esque, wouldn't it? Daniel?
It was.
Dear, oh dear. Hey, Chapo just mentioned having a crack in Super Formula Light. We're going to bring that race to you shortly, folks. 2-race program from Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, and that's getting underway at quarter to the hour. Are you jumping on the grid for that one, Kurt?
I am indeed. I'm just headed out for my quali laps now, but yeah, less said about the V-night.
Yes.
Had a bit of bad luck in the first race, and then it just sort of compounded for the next couple.
Snowballed, yeah, absolutely. I know what that's all about. Hey, did you like Donington Park as a racetrack in that car, despite the result?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Definitely a fast-flowing track for the V. Definitely enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's the main thing, mate. And Portimao next week, are we fond of that circuit?
I did a few races with IMSA, so I actually really enjoyed doing that. It's a lot of fun on that track. I look forward to the V's going around there. Nice flowing track again.
Nice long circuit for them as well, and nice fast flowing track. 3-race program should be a lot of fun. Are you liking the format at the moment, mate, where you do get two invert situations? One is a full invert and the next is a top 10 only?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun, especially with me being down the back a lot. Starting up the front and trying not to be crashed out is definitely a bit interesting second race for me.
But obviously that was always going to be fraught with danger here, where where overtaking is difficult.
Oh, definitely, yeah. There only being really 2 or 3 overtaking spots made it a lot harder. I obviously don't have the pace. I needed a lot more seat time in the V to catch up to the guys at the front, but still, it was a lot of fun.
You won't have that issue next week, mate, because Portimao is a wide racetrack, unlike Donington Park. Good luck in Super Formula Light, mate. Thanks for stopping by for a chat.
No worries.
All right, a quick break on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Great to have you along for the ride. This is Thursday Night Motorsport across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube, and we are just getting started. Formula B next week from Portimao. On the other side of the break, we continue this European swing, all European flavour tonight for you on the platforms of the GSRC for our open wheel doubleheader. Super Formula Lights for Spreyton Siders, round 3, 2-race format from the circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya. Don't go away. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Thursday Night Motorsport continuing for you across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. We move from Great Britain and the Donington Park circuit in the UK across to the circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya and Montemelo and Catalunya, Spain. And this 4.727 kilometre racetrack among one of the best in the world. It is historic for so many reasons. It's the home of the Spanish Formula One Grand Prix and the Grand Prix de Catalunya in MotoGP, of course. Not much longer hosting Formula One with, you know, their fascination of street circuits taking away one of the great racetracks of the calendar, which I'll have more to say on a little bit later, I'm sure. But right now, our focus here is a jam-packed grid of 30, it looks like, taking to the grid for the opening race of 2 in round 3 of Super Formula Lights. Jackson Ray Hunter leading the points standings here at the moment from David Baz, Adam Lavis, Cam Culverwell, and of course Jackson Diallo, Aidan Luthwaite, Jack Humphries, Brett Barker, Julian Mookie, Matt Schmicki making up the top 10. The racetrack itself, let's quickly look at that and remind everybody that that's where we are. And this is historic circa 1995. This is probably the second incarnation of the racetrack. It's had several changes, 2004, 2007, and most recently as well. 36 degrees, the on-track temperature, 21 the ambient, 11:57 in the morning, May 4, 2024. So we've jumped forward a couple of days, all of a sudden, 18 kilometre an hour winds. Grid looks like this. Partly cloudy conditions, so no rain at the moment. Who knows what the afternoon holds. Matty Dench, Aidan Luthwaite. Yes, Matty Dench is back. The great man is back, trying his hand at open wheelers. Aidan Luthwaite alongside him on the front row, David Baz, Brett Barker, Josh Robertson, Mark Gomez. Then, of course, we go back to Fred Card, Adam Lavis, Liam Banks, and Julian Mookie making up the top 10. First 5 rows of the grid. Row 6 is Bevan Moyes and Cam Culverwell. Row 7, Guy Leach, Matt Schmidtke. Row 8, Sam Chapman, Paul Wood. Row 9, Jackson Ray Harner and Paul Wilson. Row 10, Mac McNamara, and, of course, Dale Jeffries. Row 11 is where you'll find Eduardo Zamora and John Baldwin. Row 12, Greg Heaney and Alfredo Hugo. Yeah. David Christensen, Trent Allen, Leif McClymont, Pete Matson, Wayne Visser and Kurt Nommensen make up the field. No Christensen, no Allen, no Matson, no Visser on the grid here. We're ready to fire. Race 1 of the program set to go now. Green away. Beautiful start, Luthwaite. Dench has been swamped. Buzz gets by as well. 3 wide on the run down to turn 1. Hold your breath. This is an accident waiting to happen down here. Can they all squeeze through without incident in the first corner? So often they don't, but it looks like they have on this occasion. Okay. So just one. Paul Wilson and Paul Wood getting caught up in that. So too Guy Leach. Everybody else okay? Oh, more trouble. More trouble. There they go. Jackson Ray Harner's caught up in that. So too Brett Barker. Cars tippy-toeing away from it. Dale Jeffries has gone around further into the lap. And Brett Barker drops 22 spots from 4th to 26th. Ray Harner from 17th back to 24th. Mookie from 10th back to 23rd. Here it is again. And Ray Harner was the innocent bystander in all of this. Got collected on the way through. The knock-on domino effect. Luthwaite, the leader from Baz, Dench, Robertson, Gomez, Khan, Lavis, Banks, Chapman and Moyes, the top 10. Sam Chapman is in our commentary bunker at the moment. We can't talk to him at this point. We will at the end of the race, if time allows. That's Josh Robertson and David Baz. Fred Khan as well, sorry, Fred Khan. And more trouble as cars run into strife on their run into the main straight. That final sequence of corners, too much curb and looped it. Way too much curb for the sake of it. 2 minutes gone. Robertson sitting there at the moment in 9th place. Back to the leaders. David Baz is 5th. He's got Adam Lavis ahead of him. Liam Banks behind him. Good on you, Banksy. Aidan Luthwaite leads from Matty Dench and Mark Gomez. This is interesting to watch. Denchy plays, traded an open wheeler, It's interesting to see Luke Wake control the race from the front. Dale Jeffries has thrown it down the road. This is a 15-minute race. The second race, 25 minutes. So make of that what you will. Invert top 10 exists in that second race as well. So it's just like the Porsche format on a Thursday night with that 25-minute feature and this 15-minute sprint. David Baz down the inside. Gets by Adam Lavis. Trouble further back, but Alfredo Hugo, Hugo? I've got no idea. I got no idea. Here we go. Oh, he's caught the curb. That's impressive. Yeah. It's impressive that he saved it. Churgo? Yeah. Yeah, the livery's great. Hark back to 1992, 1993 Benetton. Of course, at a time where the events of not far from there, 1994, are fresh in everyone's mind. Aidan Luthwaite back to second as Denchi fires it up the outside to go to the lead. Very nicely done, Matt Dench. Whoa, trouble! Twice. Man. Did well to save it. Main straight, Dench the leader. Then Luthwaite, then Gomez. Baz is in fourth under pressure from Lavis. Then Chapman, Moyes, Baldwin. All running relatively lonely at the moment. 10th place is where you'll find Schmidtke in behind Hugo. I'm going to go with Hugo. That's the only thing that rattles off the tongue nicely with that combination of letters. Gets me every bloody week. Lavis is there at 5th place at the moment. We're riding on board with him now. Penrith leading South Sydney. 18-12 at half-time in Thursday night NRL, in Thursday night AFL. I can't give you an update just yet because the 7 Network have gone to an ad break. So I will come back to that. I believe it's Adelaide 44 leading Port Adelaide 25. So that's not a huge amount of scoring that was done in that second quarter, to be honest with you. Well, up 4, we find a battle pack back here for 14th. Guy Leach chasing Paul Wood and Greg Heaney trying to defend Curtin Nomlinson and Jackson Rayhana. Josh Robertson netcode contact on lap 1. 3 rather. On Liam Banks. In the meantime, there's a move around the outside. It's Hugo trying to get by Schmidtke, but can't get it done. Schmidtke gets him by and moves up into 9th place. McClymont is 11th. Heaney, Wood, Leach, Nomlinson and Rayhana in close pursuit. Onto the main straight again. Geez, they're using all the track and a little bit more, aren't they? The limits are being tested here. Down the main straight. Hugo's going to lose out to McClymont. McClymont through on the inside. 10 points for the amount of overtaking we've seen already tonight.
F1 would kill for that. And again,
without any sort of artificial, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Having said that, though, they've only got 20 cars. It
Exactly.
could be more, but I don't know. Something funny about Liberty.
Something funny about it, yeah, the Andretti bid being...
Actually, on that point, there's something I'm going to bring up as Greg Heaney just goes a little too wide into the sand there, drops down to P16. So, an interesting bit of development has happened on that front. Obviously, the Formula One body, so the FIA, which is, of course, the overall motorsport body, was accepting of the bid from Cadillac, from Andretti. But Formula One was not. At least initially, they have knocked that back. Now, because the owning company of Formula One, which I believe is Liberty Media, if I don't have that wrong, Liberty Media is a US company. Andretti is a US race team. So, they have appealed to the US Congress to look into the rejection. And it's going through.
Yep.
So,
This is the United States we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, fair income.
so,
The best thing going to them at the moment is IndyCar, quite frankly. How good was the race from Barcelona on Monday morning?
so good.
And the amount of legitimate overtaking opportunities as well. Again, something that Formula One would kill for. And well done to Scotty McLaughlin as well. Garlic running Valentino Rossi's number on his helmet tonight. We go back to Jackson Rayhana, who's climbed his way back to 13th. He's got to get 3 more. And that would be Guy Leach, Alfredo Hugo, and also if he could latch on to Leith McClymont. And he's only got 6.5 minutes to do it, but if he can do that, invert pole position is his for race 2.
As we've developed here, Matt Dench has managed to keep control of that lead. Still within the 1 second mark there, Luthwaite, but obviously that collision has set him back, and so now it's pretty much maintaining that P2, 1.9 seconds down to Mark Gomez, who is fighting off David Baz. Well, deep on the brakes here for Ray Hana, shoots down on the inside, and he's most likely going to hold this, but the real problem for
Hugo is trying to get by on the inside, couldn't get it done.
And Paul Wood was waiting in the wings, but unfortunately he was not able to make that move stick. So yes, Rayhana now up 5 positions gained for him. And it looks like David Baz has jumped Mark Gomez there for P3.
We've got an exciting opening installment of week 4 coming your way on Monday night too, folks. Supercars from Sandown. GT3 from the Red Bull Ring, New Beauty, Monday night. Make sure you're here, don't miss it. Platforms the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and it's sprint racing for GT3 as well. Back on board with Alfredo Hugo now, who makes his way through turn 3 on the run to 4. Can he get by on the inside? No. Oh boy. So Rayhana in 12th, chasing Guy Leach. After that, it's McClymont. Then after that, it's Schmidtke. We'll keep an eye on what Jackson's able to do here. He's punched out 132.368 last time by, but the leaders are punching out 31s. Aidan Luthwaite, 131.437. Closing the gap on Matty Dench once more. The race is on at the front end of town between Dench and Luthwaite again.
Pushing hard, and of course we're using the historic layout, which means you don't get the wacky chicane section at the end. It is one nice smooth flowing corner. Yeah,
that is a shocking piece of racetrack.
It's weird. I don't know what I guess the idea was to try and I've lost my words. Is to try and encourage overtaking into the hard braking sector, but all it did was cause immense issues for qualifying. That's all it ever did. It just became the world's biggest traffic stop, and yeah, not a fan. Glad they got rid of that.
Yep.
Good fight here between McClymont and Schmidtke. They've been going back and forth significantly over these. McClymont 17 positions gained since the start of this race, trying to zigzag here behind Schmidtke to make the overtake. Schmidtke's knowing exactly where to place that car though, so it's not working for him thus far. As we almost hit the 12-minute mark here of a 15-minute race. But remember, there are 2 sprint races here in this one with a reverse top 10 grid. And as it stands, Matt Dench in the lead. Aidan Luthwaite was catching, but it seems to have dropped back as he is now 1.16 seconds behind the leader.
Down the back straight again. McClymont sits there in 10th. One mistake from either of these two, and it's going to be to the benefit of Jackson Rayhana and Guy Leach. in the chasing pack. Schmidtke doing good work at the moment to hold McClymont there on the inside. 2.5 minutes to go.
Ooh, it's 31.
Denchi, yeah, and Denchi's just started the penultimate lap of the race. So it's a 10-lapper. Now lapping around here in about the 1 minute 31, 32 second marker. So, I mean, 10 by 90. That gets you 2 laps every 3 minutes. That gets you up to 15 minutes, 900 second. Yeah, 900 seconds is 15 minutes on the nose, and a bit of overtime with those extra 1 or 2 seconds per lap at this point. 60 seconds to a minute, 300 to 5, 600 to 10, 900 to 15. There you go. So, a lot can happen in that time, as we know. White flag in the air this time by for Matt Dench.
Oh, there goes McClymont.
No, there goes McClymont. There goes McClymont. Now, if you Guy Leach, you're worried about Jackson Rayhana. Rayhana is a second away from the top 10, a second away from the invert pole. What a story that would be, given that he was embroiled in an incident on the opening lap. Dench has lost the tail of Luthwaite. Dench is on the main straight. Dench is going to see the white flag. He's 1 lap from home. And that top 6 has bolted on everybody else, hasn't it? Or top 5, rather. Just daylight. Watch this. Robinson in 16th all over the back of McClymont. Heaney's in this battle as well. Now, can Rayhana catch Leach? Or is he going to be stuck on the outskirts of the top 10, like Trent Lavis was between race 2 and 3 at Donington? Down the inside, McClymont loses out momentarily, but then gets it back. 15th remains his. Keeps Normanson and Heaney at bay. Heaney up on the outside of Normanson now.
Oh, that's a good switchback attempt. I don't think he's going to have the speed for it on the outside. But maybe he'll do the same thing again. Shoots down to the inside. Yep. Back and forth, back and forth. Although, Kurt's doing a great job here. Mark Gomez trying to grab David Baz here, but unfortunately it's Matthew Dench coming around that final turn.
Oh, something about M. Dench and P1 on a Thursday night that just feels right. Back in familiar territory, except we've swapped the tin top for an open wheeler, and Denchy goes to the top step of the summit. How about that? It's a comfy fit, like an old pair of jeans. Denchy in P1. Second to Luthwaite, third to Baz, then Gomez, Lavis, Moyes, Chapman, Baldwin, Schmidtke, Leach held off Rayhana.
Oh, no, Kurt! No!
Normanson has avoided the wall.
Oh, no, he hasn't.
Oh, no, he hasn't. No.
He hasn't even crossed the finish line, I don't think. Oh, no,
no.
he has. No, he has. There it is.
He got sent. Oh, poor bloke. He got sent by the grass on the rejoin off the gravel. It wasn't the gravel that brought him undone, it was the grass. So, have a look at this again. Schmidtke in for 9th, Leach 10th, Rayhana, Wood, Khan, Hugo and McClymont with Heaney, Jeffries, then Normanson in 18th after that moment there. Oh. Crossed the finish line on the grass. Out of bounds. Second to Barcelona, Catalunya, hosting Thursday Night Motorsport's main course, or dessert, whatever you want to call it. Great to have you along for the ride. We're here with thanks to Waste Options, of course. Spreyton Cider. The great people at Orbic Australia. So too Lowsy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. There are the updated results from race 1. Yes, net positive results still. Yes, exactly. you're right. Here's Jackson Ray Hunter. Summing up exactly how I feel at the moment. I'm frustrated for you, mate. I can see that. I would have actually put the K on the end of that. Everyone knows where you're going. And yeah, that's unlucky for Ray Hunter. And looking for, I like how he went to go the traditional spelling and then changed it by going FUA. Yes, very nice. I'm analysing swear words now on a Thursday night. What has become of my life? Now, Dench from Luthwaite, Baz, Gomez, Lavis, Moyes, Chapman, Baldwin, Schmidtke, and Leach the top 10. That'll be the invert for you. Fireworks aplenty. It's going to be nice and spicy here in the next short while. 25 minutes with the journey, so there'll be one transit down pit lane, add 8 laps on to what we had there. Actually, no, sorry. Add 6 laps on there to what we had earlier. My apologies. I'm just getting a bit ahead of myself because it's 10 minutes we're adding onto the clock. So therefore, 2 laps every 3 minutes. So 3, 6, 9. Transit down pit lane. That gets you the time. So we had, 10 laps, so we'll go 16, I would say. That's the venue. That's the road ahead as far as this series is concerned. El Presidente's jumped into the commentary position right now, and we'll get to him in just a moment. So it's an Algarve doubleheader next week. Then on to Suzuka, to Kota, to Watkins Glen, to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, to Road America, and to the Grand Prix of Detroit Circuit in Belle Isle, Michigan. Now, I'm not here for Suzuka, but I'm here for the rest of them. I'm excited about that already. Very nicely done. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, Mr. Caven.
Nice of you to join us.
Daniel, Sam, how are you?
Well, Chabo's muted at the moment, and there might be a good reason for that. But he's unmuted himself now. We might get his thoughts in just a moment. But how's your day been, Truck?
Long, mate. We had a work meeting called this afternoon, so when the broadcast started, I was still an hour and a half from home. So I managed to jump into the chair here with about 5 minutes to go in practice to do race control for this one. So unfortunate incident there at the start of race 1. You seen Fred Kahn moved across, and Adam just sort of checked up, so he didn't make contact. And it's a really hard one to call. You can't blame any one particular person for that incident at all. So that was just deemed a no at fault thing. So other than that, they were well behaved. So I'll let you get on with the broadcast, and thank you.
No worries, mate. Thank you. We'll catch up with you at the end. Chapo, how are you feeling about jumping from 4th here?
Oh, mate, 4th isn't too bad. That race went okay. Was able to avoid incidents. So pace isn't stellar. Yeah, probably about a second off those top guys. But we'll see how we go from the front and see what happens here. Probably have to play around with tyres a little bit with all these long corners, and what have we got? 40-degree track temp as well.
Copy. All right. Fingers crossed. Good luck to you. Go well. We'll catch up at the end.
Thanks, mate.
There's the grid for you. The front 5 rows. The invert finishing order from race 1. 25 minutes the journey. Let's go to work. Race 2, round 3. Spreyton Cider, Super Formula Lights. Cracker of a start from John Baldwin. Look at how bunched up the pack is on the run down to turn 1, and hold your breath as they get here. Oh! We didn't even get there. Paul Wilson's been carved up. He wasn't the only one. Heaney and Donington involved in that as well. Guy Leach has been swamped. Schmidtke, Chapman, Moyes, then Leach, Baldwin around the outside, holding on to 5th. Then Gomez, Luthwaite, Rayhana, Lavis, Baz, and Dench. Drenchy's lost out a spot early on. Rayhana's up 3. It's all happening here in the early stages.
David Baz and Paul Wood have come together, I believe.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's clipped the back of Lavis there. Oh, yeah, yeah. And now they're...
Big time.
Oh, watch the rejoin, boys. Yep.
Too late to watch the rejoin and a replay. But I know what you mean. No, that's that intuition, that it's instinctive what we say when we say it with regards to rejoins, because it's such a talking point within the club. Schmidtke, Chapman, Moyes, then Leach, Gomez, Luthwaite, Rayhana, then Lavis, then Khan and Hugo.
Look at Leach go.
Chapman in fourth and Leach, almost as though he had some sort of push to pass going on. Kurt Nommensen highlighting the obvious, that his race was done and dusted very early in the piece. Guy Leach to second, Schmidtke holding the lead down early stages. Greg Brooks pointing out the obvious, that McClymont's dropped down the order. He's not the only one, so, here we go. So, Nommensen, Wilson, Dench, McClymont, Baldwin, Culverwell and Baz all on pit road at the moment. Now, Dench, I'm not sure what's happened there, but Dench is on the tow rope. Dench is on the tow rope. The great man, the winner of race one, has ended up in incident.
Oh, yep.
Robertson and Hugo off the circuit as well. Oh, wow. Jesus.
So, hold on. Let's see what's happened here.
So this is coming through the back section of the circuit onto the back straight, and Dench is in limp mode. Pulls off to the outside and gets on the tow rope. Says, that'll do me. So one thing's for certain.
He got hit by the spinning car. All right, so
one thing's for certain. We're actually going to have a different winner in this one. Rayhana, undue care with car 808, David Baz on lap one. Now, it doesn't tell us what the adjudication is, whether all it says that is that Rayhana's at fault. What the penalty is, we're not sure, whether it's no further action or whether it's a drive-through or whether it's a points penalty or whether it's a second penalty, a time penalty. We'll wait and see. Hear from Joe about that in just a moment. In the meantime, that is the big story. Matty Dench caught up in somebody else's incident, out of business. Oh, trouble!
That's Rayhana.
Turn one again. Jackson Rayhana. Down the order a lot further than he'd like to be tonight. That won't help. Caught the curve. I caught the sausage on the curve, and that was that.
So I also just want to go back and see if we can have a look at what happened to Paul Wilson at the start. Oh! Ooh.
Yeah. That's a bizarre incident. 1, 2, 3 cars caught up in that. And just a case of, I think, the racetrack not as wide as they would have liked it to be. Wheel bang?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. He got a clout. He absolutely got a clout. Have a look at that wheel part company with a car. Jeez. Bang. Bang, bang, bang. Like a piñata. Like the pinball. Now, I don't mind telling everybody that the updated score from the Adelaide Oval is 9.256 playing 3.826. Adelaide, with only 2 wins to their name already this season, are staring down win number 3 and staring down a showdown victory. They're in the box seat at the moment, leading by 30 points. We're in the third quarter of that match. So we're in the middle of race 4 of the championship, round 3 of the campaign. Super Formula Light Spreyton Cider. Thursday night Motorsport. Lavis had the tyres screeching on that one through turn 4. But gathered it up and kept it pointing in the right direction.
Might have a good run coming out of here, but unfortunately Gomez also has the same. Adam might look to shoot down the inside here. Nope. Pulls back as we see. Oh, and that was a bad one for Gomes. And it looks like Sam Chapman also made a mistake.
Lavis
And
The
Lavis.
beneficiary.
Good move. Good awareness.
2 for the price of 1. Oh boy. Luthwaite is 4th. Moyes is 3rd. Leach is 2nd. Schmidtke the leader. There's bugger all separating the first 4 on the racetrack at the moment. About 2 seconds. Barely that. There they go. Across the line. It's all happening here. Leach to the inside of Schmidtke. Reach to the lead. Luthwaite, who we're riding on board with, gets to the inside of Moyes. Goes to P3. The youngster on the charge. In the box seat for round runners here at the moment, boys. Because of the demise of Matty Dench, who's still on pit road after 5.5 minutes. McClymont out of business. Robinson's a lap down, so too Wilson and Baldwin. Everybody else out there still going strong on lap 5. Liam Banks and Julian Mookie up 15 spots apiece. Brett Barker up 12. Robinson up 9. Zamora up 7. McNamara up 8. The big movers of the race thus far. And Luthwaite up 6 spots. But there'll be some pit lane transit work still to come, I'm sure.
Mookie's had an adventure. Seems. Oh, God, he jumped the curb, yeah. So a lot closer at the front in heat number 2. Of course, Guy Leach doing a really good job, 1.1 seconds in front of Schmidtke. Sam Chapman looks to defend against Gomez, but it looks like Gomez is going to get it down the end. Oh, have a look at Khan. Did he just take both of them? No, not quite. Got
no.
one.
Didn't quite get Gomez. 16.5 minutes to go. Right on board here with Khan. The Whiskey Business Machine down the inside. That was impressive. But well fought back on the high side by Gomez to keep him at bay for a little bit longer. How much longer is still to be determined.
Oh, he got ahead though.
He did.
So, I know they've switched down. They're going back and forth here. Yeah, so Gomez still in P6 right now. So Sam Chapman lost out significantly there. Luckily for him, plenty of time left on that clock. And Luthwaite's managed to get past Mickey for P2. Oh, no!
Oh, jeez. A little bit of evasive action almost had to be taken there by Bevan Moyes. Luthwaite, Schmidtke. Oh, Moyes is hanging it out to dry. He was almost in the weeds. Down the main straight, it's a three-way fight for second. Schmidtke, how long can he keep Luthwaite at bay? Not very long, I wouldn't imagine. Luthwaite to the inside, goodbye. Aiden up into second. He'll go deep, he'll hold it under brakes to turn 1.
Lavis is caught up now because of that.
Indeed he has. Leach, Luthwaite, Schmidtke, Moyes, Lavis, then Gomez, Khan, Chapman. Rayhana still boxed in 9th and Banks is 10th. Still so much of this race to play out. Who's going to trip up next? Who is going to meet the wrath of race control? Who is going to trigger a penalty or a stop and hold from iRacing for just being a little bit too friendly on the throttle on the way into pit lane? All those variables are still to be answered.
Rayhana gets past Chapman there at the back. Rayhana up in a P8.
Very nicely done. Leach, Luthwaite, Schmidtke, Moyes, Lavis, Gomez, Khan, Rayhana. Rayhana 8th, chasing Khan now. Moyes right there in 4th. 2 seconds separates first and second. Who's bringing the train along with him? Aiden Luthwaite. Fastest lap of the race, 1:32.010. Everybody else setting up green times that time around as well. Moyes. Got him. Holds third on Schmidtke. It's, what is it, 9 seconds covers the top 12 at the moment in this car race. Great. It's good viewing. 8 laps in. Whoop. We're at half race distance this time by the line. That was a little bit of how you're going. Nice to meet you. Nice to make your acquaintance. Any closer and he would have had to ask for consent. Leach, Luthwaite, Moyes, Schmidtke and Lavis, the top 5. Great to have so many people tuning in on a Thursday night, joining us for the ride across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube platforms of the GSRC.
So the front 3 have split significantly now. Neither of them are in attack range. They're 1.4, 1.6 there for P2 and P3. Schmidtke and Lavis are close. And then a slight gap here to the car on his screen as he comes in, shoots into the pits there. So looks like he'll be pitting here, lap 9. That's going to allow Khan, Rayhana, Chapman, Barker and Banks to get past. Which is, of course, one of the things that we see here in the virtual world that we don't really see in the real world. These guys will pit for fuel and possibly tyres. I don't know if they'll take tyres. I don't know if they'll bother. I think it'll just be fuel.
I would imagine so.
Rayhana is now right in the back of Fred Khan.
Greg Brooks reckons that...
takes the position, sorry.
Oh, geez. Nicely done. Jackson Rayhana up into 6th. Got the job done on Fred Khan. Next target, Adam Lavis. Rayhana's in the fight now. Greg Brooks reckons that there's a jet engine somewhere hiding under the cover of Aiden's machine at the moment.
He has the unofficial fastest lap, I think. It's showing up as red, but it does say that his best is a 32.0.
Yep. So Leach controlling this race just nicely, converting the, using the benefit of the invert to his advantage here, and going on with it. Round they come onto the main straight again. Rayhana to pit lane, the first one to zig. Out of that top 10. Lavis, 5th now. Remember, if it's a fuel race, Lavis is the one you got to watch crunch the numbers, and so too Matty Dench, but Dench's out of business, so, I mean, it was short-lived. His presence here on a Thursday night. Had a feeling of Thursday nights of old in race 1 when he was getting the W, but unfortunately, inverts again proved to be his nemesis. I reckon if he'd have realised it was an invert night, he wouldn't have bothered turning up. But we're glad that he did momentarily. Schmidtke the leader.
Yeah, Greg, you're not wrong.
Absolutely. Luthwaite is honing down Guy Leach at the moment. Narrowing in on him. So Luthwaite's a real threat here to Guy Leach, who's held up the guard for so long throughout the first course of throughout the course of the first 10 laps of this race. But might not be able to offer up too much more resistance. Speaking of which, Brett Barker down the inside displaces Chapo, moves into 7th. Up 17 spots already, but the field isn't yet cleansed, folks. We've had a few pit stops already. Rayhana, Gomez, Banks, and Wood. Everybody else that stopped on lap 1, there's a cloud over. There's a cloud of uncertainty over, but I think what we learned in week 1 is that they'll be okay to top up and get to the end, no matter how early they pit in that race. I think that's the fuel rules and games we're playing by.
So just taking a look at those last laps there, you can see Aiden Luthwaite very consistently faster than Guy Leach here at the front. 0.8 lap 7, 0.6 lap 8, 0.38, 0.36, 9 and 10. So he is winding it down, but neither of them have stopped. Wonder who will pull the trigger first, but if it keeps on this way, and I think it might actually be now, he might get him. He's going to have to brake late if he wants to commit to the move now.
Big dive, no, Bale's out of it.
That was smart. That was smart. Throw it
Absolutely.
all the way now.
I mean, to be fair, he's got 5 laps to go, and he's got time up his sleeve. Time is not the enemy here.
So the question, do they even pit?
Some of them won't. Chapman has come into pit lane. Dale Jeffries into pit lane. So I get the feeling they will. It might be in the next 2 laps, but if they don't, then, I mean, question has to be asked why some people bothered even doing it.
Neither of these guys were fuel saving.
In some people's case, their hand was forced for them because of damage. But yeah, it has to be the next 2 laps, I would imagine, if they're going to pit. I mean, it would make no sense coming in, 2 or 1 lap to go, and at least give yourself 3 laps to ease into it, into the second stint.
So top 11 yet to pit.
Run the tank dry. Intelligent driving by Aiden, all right. Just to follow Guy Leach through. He peels off.
Oh, that's a fast pit entry.
They both peel off, and Guy Leach was on the ragged edge all the way.
Oh, he committed to that.
So, Daniel, that answers your question, my friend.
Yes, there you go. But
everybody in except Brett Barker this time by.
Committed pit stop.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone on the ragged edge coming into the lane like that before.
There goes Mookie. That's everyone.
That's everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone that hasn't yet stopped except Brett Barker. So
the question is, where does everybody rejoin? Rayhana up into 7th, and Brett Barker is punching hard. I mean, surely he pits in the next one. Can't imagine he holds on there, but anyway, for now he is leading the motor race. Guy Leach behind, and there's Luthwaite as well. Having a look at that pit time. So Luthwaite 4.37 in the box, 4.5 for Guy Leach, 4.67 for Bevan Moyes, 4.12 for Adam Lavis. Adam Lavis doing his tricks again.
Indeed. Just breaking away momentarily with what we've got here. Yeah. Brett Barker was leading by 12.2 seconds from Guy Leach and Aiden Luthwaite. That's on now. It's on really in earnest now. And it's on for Schmidtke and Rayhana. Rayhana down the inside to try and get by Schmidtke. Rayhana back to 6th. Just breaking away. Penrith leading South Sydney 36-12. So I think that results beyond any sort of reasonable doubt in the NRL. And the AFL is still very much in favour of Adelaide over Port Adelaide, but there's still a quarter and a bit to play there. 58 leads 35 with a quarter to play. Now, back here, Leach and Luthwaite, 0.69 the margin. What can Aiden do? Is this the night he breaks through and scores a W? We wait to see. We wait with bated breath.
Look at that last 151.34, 151.35. Right there. Guy Leach, I will say this, Guy Leach is doing an incredible job out front.
Absolutely he is. I mean, we've seen him have his moments before on the platforms of this club and in the respective servers. We've seen him be a proven performer, but it hasn't been consistent and it hasn't been right at the pointy end. This could be one of those moments where you just all of a sudden stop and take stock of what you're watching and take note of Guy Leach. Could be a breakout moment for him. Aidan Luthwaite will throw everything at it though, we know that. A run onto the main straight here is so critical. There are 2 laps to go. I'm glad I got the numbers right tonight, 10 and 16. Pretty easy with the numbers around that 90-second marker, I must say. Down the main straight, look at Leach weaving left to right, trying to keep Luthwaite at bay. Will not be able to do so. Luthwaite's going to drive down the inside on the run to turn 1. Aidan Luthwaite to the lead and cruelly denies Guy Leach a moment of glory. It's not over yet, but Luthwaite's the form man in this competition, especially in the absence of Rayhana on the scoreboard here. I mean, Rayhana's running down 5th, but well out of contention. And he's, what, 6 seconds off the leader. So Luthwaite, one of the form performers here, has found his way to the front. Barring not putting a foot wrong and maintaining pace, he should win this thing from here. 22 degrees ambient, 41 on track. Partly cloudy conditions at the circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. And Aidan Luthwaite is a lap and a quarter away from victory. A victory that he's snatched out of Guy Leach's grasp. But it'll still be a very impressive podium finish for Guy.
Question is how far back.
1 to go, white flag in the air. Go, Daniel.
Yeah, it's just the question is going to be how far back is he going to be coming around this corner. So you get a pretty significant draft down the main straight, but 5/10 is a big gap. I don't think it's enough. No, he's not climbing anywhere near as fast as he needs to be. Aidan is faster around at least 2 sectors of the track, and you can hear the braking now. Oh, wow, Guy really went deep. Clips the curb on the inside, keeps it straight though.
Yeah, that didn't work.
No.
I don't think that's done him any favours. It's all falling into the lap of Aidan Luthwaite here. For Greg Heaney's Whiskey Business Racing stable. Watch Leach, he'll throw everything at this to try and pressure Luthwaite into a mistake. To try and recapture the lead.
They both extended wide there, caught the cars well.
This is on the limit, ragged edge stuff from this pair. Greg Brooks is right. Those last 2 sectors of the wheelhouse of Aidan Luthwaite here. He's driven a beautiful race. From 9th on the grid through to take the lead with only 2 laps to go. Leach is right there, but he's going to run out of corners and run out of time, I think. Will there be a late dive? Will there be a last gasp effort, last ditch, win it or bin it type scenario? No, I don't think so. He'll play the smart game. He'll follow Luthwaite through. He'll consolidate a podium finish and finish in second. Aidan Luthwaite gets the job done at the circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. How about that? Ben Guy Leach, Bevan Moyes, Adam Lavis, Jackson Rayhana, Mark Gomez, Brett Barker, Matt Schmidtke, Liam Banks and Josh Roberts in the top 10. Brilliant. Just brilliant. Guy Leach second, Bevan Moyes third, then Adam Lavis, Jackson Rayhana, Mark Gomez, then Brett Barker, Matt Schmidtke and Liam Banks, with Josh Robertson making up the top 10. Most positions gained, Brett Barker, 17 of them. But also honourable mentions, Liam Banks, 16. Julian Mookie, 13. Josh Robertson, 12. And Eduardo Zamora, 10. Down the order, a very sorry state of affairs. Retirements for Leif McClymont and Matty Dench, Alfredo Huergo, and also Greg Keeney. Normanton finishes a lap down. 22 cars get home on of 21 of which were on the lead lap. Oh boy. Super Formula Light delivers again, Daniel Correa-San. We'll get some thoughts from Sam Chapman in a moment, but from you firstly, Aidan Luthwaite, he's been one of those characters that we've been keeping an eye on in the last few months, coming on leaps and bounds as a performer, and we've finally found something of a wheelhouse for him here in Super Formula Light.
Yeah, it was a cracker race from him and Guy Leach. Really fight hard at that front end. Obviously, the pit stops came in, they left. They were very even there, but as Greg mentioned, and yourself, Zach, Aidan was just faster in those first and third sectors, and that's where it counted. He made that move going down into turn one. He managed to keep that lead. Guy Leach, unfortunately, couldn't get him back on the next couple of laps. Having said that, though, he gave it a red-hot go. He pushed really hard into turn one, clipping the curb, trying to get as much speed as he could into that. Luckily, it didn't throw his car off the circuit. He managed to keep it there, but it just wasn't enough. So yeah, Luthwaite manages to pick up the win here. And an unfortunate game of what if for Matthew Dench. He was looking strong and unfortunately got taken out by that spinning car past turn 7. So he had an early retirement.
Indeed. Oh boy. Sam Chapman, 12th in that race, from 4th on the grid, so a 7th and a 12th. Your thoughts on all of that and what might have been?
I didn't really see myself being that much higher, given I don't know the track that well. I'm still probably getting the hang of the car. So, yeah, no, I'm relatively happy with that. Racing was good. The pace of mine wasn't. Had 2 good starts and some good battles out there, but yeah, I didn't struggle with tyres and that sort of thing. No, it was good fun.
Indeed it was, and this is one of those circuits. It's great for these cars, isn't it? Open wheel racing and motorcycle racing, I mean, you couldn't pick a better circuit.
No, the way that it flows, like it is a lot of fun in these downhorse cars, because you can just really push them around and push them through these corners and make the most of it. So it's really those tricky ones, those little hooky ones that are more frustrating in these, and getting that braking right just without locking up as you're sort of going into those turning braking zones is a place I struggled. But it looks like you got Kurt Normanson in here as well, Zach, so I'll probably ask him some questions rather than me. Look at yeah.
Yes, I'm going to get to Kurt. He only just joined us once you started talking, actually, Chapo, to be fair. I'll get to him in just a moment. Just want to remind everybody that next week it's a double header from the Algarve Circuit Formula V in to Super Formula Light. So Open Wheel Thursday comes to you from the same venue, which will be good fun. Kurt, talk to me. I mean, race 1 finished 18th, race 2 22nd. Your thoughts on all of that? Because unfortunately, as I mentioned in the call, you ended up a lap down yet again, getting caught up in somebody else's garbage once more. It's been a night for that, really.
Yeah, it's just one of those nights. In race 1, that was my own fault. Pushed a bit too hard on dead tires at the end of the race. That's on me. Race 2, I didn't know what happened until I got out of the car and went back and looked at it, because I couldn't see anything. All of a sudden, this car was hitting me from the side, so...
In saying all of that, though, sorry, mate, I just lost you there momentarily. I think it's my end. I think the internet's playing up a little bit tonight. In saying all of that, though, just as Greg Heaney's about to join us as well, and maybe Aidan Luthwaite, we'll wait and see. Yes, Aidan's on his way in, so that's good fun because we need to talk to the race winner. Just talk to me about what you're liking and what you're not necessarily liking, and how you're getting to terms with this race car, because it is new to some of us this season, not least commentators as well.
Yeah, I'm really liking the grip levels this car has. You can definitely stick it side by side a lot easier in this thing. And honestly, there's not a lot. I think it's just me needing more seat time in the sim, and probably a few sim upgrades myself. I would like the hardware, so that's just things I've got to work on eventually. But you know, I'm just here having a bit of fun and enjoying all the cars that you guys are offering.
And on that subject, what's next for you, please? Do you jump in tomorrow night or something over the weekend, or is it into week 4 for you?
Debating jumping in the Mountain Men. I love the Pro Mazda that they got going on Saturday night, so might try that. But mostly looking at week 4 for the GT3.
The Pro Mazda just keeps an open wheel flavour going for the back end of this week, no doubt about that. GT3 Monday night, sprint racing, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I've been doing a few of the sprint races this week in the officials to try and get some more seat time around Red Bull Ring, because not a track that I've driven very often, so I need to do a lot more laps there.
Indeed. Talk to me about, as I bring up the results on my end once more, talk to me about Lame Sheep Racing. I'm seeing your MC team name there. Lame Sheep Racing. Tell us about that one, please.
It's just Pete, one of the guys that invited me in to do a bit of endurance racing. I thought I'd give them a bit of exposure. They're just a bunch of guys having a bit of fun, doing a bit of endurance racing. Definitely how I've been improving is running races with them, and they got some really quick guys in there that have talked me through some things. So just a group of friends having a bit of fun.
Very nicely done. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what this caper is all about, isn't it?
That's exactly it.
Not the best night at the office, mate, but nice to see you persevered with it. There were a few people that saw themselves out before the checkered flag waved. You did not, so 10 points for that. Good luck for the rest of the season, mate. Thanks for coming in to have a chat with us, and we'll see you Monday if we don't see you before.
Yeah, too easy, thank you.
Aidan Luthwaite, we've been waiting for this moment. Not just you getting a W or a podium finish, because those boxes have already been ticked. Great to see you get the W tonight, mate, and the round win as well. Well done on all of that. It's super competitive, this Super Formula Light series at the moment, if I'll pardon the pun. Congratulations to you, because that was... it's been nice to watch you go toe-to-toe with Jackson Rayhana in the early stage of this championship, but tonight, one of the best in the business was out there, and you kept him honest for the most part of race 1, and then he met some sort of misfortune in race 2, which was to your benefit.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a action-packed couple of races, that's for sure. Yeah, made a bit of a mistake on that first race there, coming out of the last corner. Obviously gave away that position to Dench, which wasn't ideal, but yeah, it is what it is. But got a good start on the second race as well, by the looks of it. Just kept my nose clean and just sort of pipped when I had to. Had the pace, had found that turn 1 was a really good overtaking spot. There was a lot of grip off the racing line, which is good. So got a few moves done there, and yeah, got the W.
Greg Heaney's here with us as well, and I might as well talk to you blokes simultaneously, because everybody else has seen themselves out. It's just us for the rest of the broadcast here, boys. Looks like we're getting an early mark, Daniel Correa, so I don't want to speak too soon, but that's okay. Greg Heaney, you must be incredibly proud of the way in which this bloke continues to just chip away at it, net those results, and fly the flag for the team, mate.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I knew you'd be happy that I twisted his arm to get him over here. This is 2 weeks in a row I've actually managed to get him in here.
I wasn't here last week, so I'm glad that I'm here this week and he's in here as well.
Yeah, no, definitely happy with the way Aidan can steer. He's making us look good, and definitely taking it up to some of the faster guys within the club, which is yeah, good to see. And I'm very, very happy with the way he can drive. So
Indeed. We'll get to you on your night in just a moment. Hey, Aiden, talk to me about battling with Denchi. As you say, it was one little mistake and it allowed him to get away. But what was it like being able to go toe-to-toe with him, and did you feel any nerves or pressure with that?
Oh, definitely a little bit of pressure, I think, obviously, with, battling with someone like that. But, yeah, made the mistake, obviously, but I was able to obviously keep a little bit of a gap, obviously the gap didn't get too big towards the end of it. I think that was mainly down to, honestly, just holding the slipstream. But, yeah, is what it is in the end.
And race 2, just working your way back through the field there, mate. Obviously, key to success, point 1 was staying out of trouble, keeping clean, and point number 2 was making the most of your opportunities to, execute an overtaking opportunity. You did that as well, but you left it rather late to find away by Guy Leach, who drove a beautiful race, it's fair to say.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I did try to move a little bit earlier on in the race on Guy, but yeah, it didn't quite work in the end. Decided to back out towards the end at turn 1. But yeah, I took a lighter fuel load, which I think my stop might have been slightly faster than his, which might have helped, but not too sure. But nonetheless, yeah, turn 1 was a really good overtaking spot tonight for me. Just had really good grip off the racing line, which is good.
Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya, great racetrack, and very well suited to these types of cars, mate.
100%, yeah. Good flow with the historic layout as well. Obviously, without the chicane there, you can sort of flow right through, and yeah, that's a very nice track indeed.
Talk to me about the championship so far, because obviously the Hungaro ring last week, I wasn't here for that one, but as Greg said, he got you across the line to come in for an interview. Numbers would suggest that you are very well placed as far as the championship's concerned. Are you confident of your chances of being able to go on with it here? Are there any circuits that bother you in the schedule of what's to come?
I think I always consider myself someone who can adapt pretty well, but yeah, I'll definitely be having the best shot at the championship this season. Didn't have the best shot at Monza, unfortunately, but going forward it should be, yeah, hopefully pretty good here on out.
And I guess the other thing as well, when we, oh, that's random. I'm now getting notifications from Snapchat to let them know that chats are actually sending, not just that I'm receiving them. They'll do anything on these phones to make you look at them with notifications, won't they? So I'm sitting here and I'm having a look at the schedule of what's to come. We've got Portimao next week, Suzuka for sprint racing, Circuit of the Americas for sprint racing. Watkins Glen is just a regular one-off 40-minute sprint. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for sprint racing. I'm already bloody excited about that one. Then Road America for an enduro, and then Belloir for super sprint. Talk to me about the formats here, because obviously we've adopted a very similar format to what we have with the Porsches, mate. There are going to be weeks where overtaking, when you're a recipient of the invert and you get sent back to the 4th or 5th row of the grid, there are going to be some circuits here, particularly Suzuka I'm looking at, where overtaking opportunities aren't going to be as freely presenting to you as what they were here at the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. What's the key to succeeding in those weeks? What's the plan of attack here? Because at the end of the day, if you get caught up in garbage, you could be looking at drop rounds or low point scores.
Yeah, that's correct. I think it's one of those things where you just sort of have to play it along as you go. I think trying to just lose the minimum amount of time as possible through the corners, I think, is the best thing. Try not to battle too much. Even try and use the pit strategy to your advantage as well. So if you can, try and get yourself a gap by pitting a little bit earlier, just staying out of traffic, that seems to be, obviously always a good way to go. But it's risky because you might obviously get yourself in traffic, down the line. But I think, yeah, just trying to keep your nose clean, just try not to battle too much, just, and see if you can try and use that fuel stop to your advantage as well.
And what sort of role do your teammates play here in helping you along later in the season? Because let's face it, at the moment, you're very much well ahead of them in the order. But is there anything in which they can do to support you as we edge closer to the end of the campaign, mate? If it's tight and you've got opponents in the mix and all those scenarios are being played out, how do your teammates help you here, if at all?
Yeah, I think this is always really a group effort, to be honest with you. We always bounce ideas off each other, how we can always improve and things like that. Obviously, in terms of, on track, teamwork and things like that, obviously it might be a little bit difficult. But we're always helping each other behind the scenes, getting faster every day.
Indeed, and obviously you've found your niche here with these open wheelers, mate, but how are you finding the tin tops and the other championships that you're participating in at the moment?
Yeah, good. I've always considered myself someone who's, been a fan of, getting a bit of variety, driving different things, whether it be open wheelers or tin tops. So, yeah, I'm going really well in both, I reckon, at the moment, which is good.
And give us a little bit of the Aidan Luthwaite background, if you don't mind. I should have asked you this one earlier, but obviously, we've heard Greg sing your praises, and we've had him introduce you to us through the team side of things. But firstly, tell us the Aidan Luthwaite story. How'd you get involved in sim racing? How'd you get involved with whiskey business? And was that the way you found out about the GSRC?
Yeah, well, it's funny that, because I started sim racing in probably, I think, 2018, 2019, around there somewhere. Started on the F1 games, of all things, believe it or not. And, was on there for a little bit. Eventually switched over to iRacing pretty quickly.
Yeah, don't blame you.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Was on iRacing for a few years. Basically put sim racing to the side for a few years after that. Didn't really come back to it till late last year, so I had a few years off. Wanted to get back into league racing, all those sorts of things. I was running a few series back in the day, the Aussie Mixed and Fixed series, which was streamed on SimSpeed, I'm pretty sure. And a few other series as well, but that was the main one I was running in. But yeah, eventually came back. Found you guys. Can't remember exactly where I found you. I think social media somewhere. Just started practicing for my first season. Met up with Greg and Jackson, I believe, to begin with, and just started hanging out with these guys ever since, and here we are.
Indeed. Stay with me, mate. Coming back to you in a moment, and I've already promised Sam Chapman a bit of a post-mortem on my thoughts of the F1 games at the end of the broadcast once we're off air, because it's not safe for broadcast. So if you want to stick around and have a laugh at that, feel free. Greg Heaney, coming back to you. I mean, obviously we could sing this bloke's praises all night, but talk to me about your night and the rest of the stables, please.
Well, mine was a night that I'd rather forget. I think the car's going back home in the trailer in bits and pieces.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, she wasn't nice. I didn't quite do a Matt Schmidtke from Monday night where he learned to pirouette a Lamborghini in one place for about 6 times, but it wasn't far from it. I got caught up. Lap 1, I got caught up in an incident at the start. 5 wide into turn 1 at Catalunya does not work. I didn't even know what happened. Next second, I'm facing one of the other guys. I'm not sure whose car it was, actually. I was facing a car to my right and facing the wall. Managed to limp the car back around and then just proceeded to drive around for another 9 laps by myself until I buggered it up and stuck it in the fence.
Been a challenging start of the season, and Formula V wasn't all that much better, was it?
No, me and the V's, I dropped way off the pace there. And I'm like, I'm not competitive at the moment in this. And don't ask me how that works, being that it's one of the cars you start in, and then I think my brain and everything is switched to tin top mode, so I'm more attuned to driving a tin top than I am an open wheeler in most parts. But so I think, having a go in the V, I think I'm just doing it for a little bit of just seat time, really. But yeah, I dropped way too far off the back of the groups to be able to keep up with the guys, so I just you know what, I'm just going to park this, jump out and jump back over into the Super Formulas, because the session was up and I hadn't done any laps yet for practice in the car around the track in this configuration. So jump on over and get some laps done before Quali kicked in. Oh look, there's me going into the fence.
They're, yes, unfortunately getting caught up in other people's garbage. In saying that, how are you finding the Super Formula Light as a challenge? And I mean, I guess how can you lean on Aiden to try and advance your progress here?
I'm really enjoying the car. A few more wet sessions would be nice, but we'll have to talk to the powers that be to have that happen. Mix it up a little bit. But no, I just more seat time really. Just probably just having some inter-team battles with Aiden and the likes of Fred and Jackson and Ryan, if we can get him on, if we can convince him to jump in the car, if he's not busy with other things. But just battling it out between the five of us currently, and just learning off each other is how we're progressing forwards with this. I mean, Fred's got a go-kart background, so he's attuned to driving an open wheeler of sorts anyway. But yeah, that I reckon more seat time with the guys is going to get me a little bit quicker in these cars, but we'll get there.
All right, very nicely done. Now, for the two of you, respectively, your thoughts on Portimao, because that is the next stop, and I guess lucky for you, Greg, as well, we get to go there in the V2, so you'll be very familiar with the circuit, but they'll drive very differently, those two cars.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I've already done some laps around Portimao in the GT3, so I've got an idea of where the track goes and where those blind apexes are, but it's going to be a lot harder to see them in a car that when your butt's only 10 mil off the ground compared to in a GT3 car. I'm very much looking forward to it. It is a good track to drive, so we'll give it a crack, that's for sure.
Indeed. Aiden, can you back up tonight when we get to Portugal?
If he's still there.
I think we've still got him.
Yep, sorry, Michael's right.
There he is.
Sorry, yep. Only done a handful of laps around Portugal, to be honest with you, so I don't really have too much of an opinion. So, I'll just have to do some laps and find out, I suppose.
No, very nicely done. Just having a look at the clock here, it's only 3 minutes to 10. I feel as though I've done nowhere near enough work tonight. Again, the joys of Thursday night motorsport. Some weeks we get 1,000 people in for a chat post race, others we get bugger all. But we've got the key people here tonight. Aiden, who do you see as the biggest threat in this championship at the moment? Is it Jackson? Is it Denchi if he keeps showing up? Where are you at?
I think both. I think you've just hit the nail on the head, to be honest with you, both of those people, to be honest with you. I'll be keeping an eye on them, I reckon. Hopefully I can beat them.
All right, very nicely done. Greg was only mentioning there a few moments ago that he'd love to see some more weather servers. Where do you sit with that theory, please?
He's muted himself again.
He has.
Sorry, I missed that, sorry.
I was asking, Greg mentioned something there earlier about wanting more rain and weather-affected servers. Do you share his love of the new Tempest weather system? Would you
yes.
Would you welcome more of that?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, no, wet weather. Big fan of wet weather. I reckon iRacing's done an absolutely amazing job with it. It feels like a very dynamic sort of track. The way that the cars evolve the track, kick up the spray and things like that. The way the weather comes in, I think they've done a really good job with it. So more wet races would be very nice. Yes.
All right, very nicely done. All right, boys. I'm out of questions for the moment. Any final comments from you before we put tools down to reconvene on Monday night?
Yeah, just wanted to say a big thanks to everyone at Whiskey Business, and big thanks to you guys for hosting a great race once again.
And Greg, I have to ask the obvious question at this point in time. What brand of whiskey are we leaning upon when we go and celebrate this victory of Aiden Leithwaite, please?
Anything single malt. Unfortunately, at this point, I don't have anything in the cupboard, so I need to go and stock up again.
No, no.
Yeah, believe it or not, I actually did because this race team of Whiskey Business was myself and my brother, just having a laugh, and you know what, bugger it, we'll make ourselves a race team. What are we going to call it? No, we'll just go whiskey. No, whiskey, because myself and my brother love our whiskeys, so. That's where we all started it, and then hit up a couple of the other guys. So Ryan Mulder, hit him up. I run with him in another league. He joined on. I then hit up with Fred, who I bumped into on the train. Got talking to him just as somebody random on the train, and I'm talking to this guy because there was another weird bloke on the train the week before, and apparently Fred mentioned that I stepped up and said something to this bloke to get him to pipe down, and he was talking to his missus about it, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, Fred's into car racing. Okay, cool. So we'll get him in. Then obviously Aiden and Jackson hit the boys up through GSRC Discord. And yeah, we're going from there really. But when I started trying to come up with sponsors and stuff before I hit up the boss to be able to get Bowens on the car, get Timber Truss on the cars, I actually hit up Highland Park Whiskey.
Right.
And said, hey, can I use your logo on a fictitious livery on a car for a game? Or sim, sorry, I should correct myself. It's a simulator, it's not a game. And they actually responded. Unfortunately, they said no.
No.
But it would have been nice if I could have put their ornate logo on the car somewhere. But yeah, no, myself, Highland Park for sure. But unfortunately, I've run out at the moment.
All right, very nicely done. Hey, gentlemen, well done. Just before I let you go, Daniel Correa-Sar, anything for these two gentlemen?
No. Just look, an excellent race there from you, Aiden. It was a cracker all the way to the end there. And yeah, Greg, commiserations, man. you got
look, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, you got caught up in some crazy incidents. So hopefully your luck will be better in the upcoming rounds.
I hope so.
All right, seems like you lot are done. Very nicely done. Stick around, gentlemen. I'll have a quick chat to you off air once we're wrapped up here. That is Spreyton side of Thursday Night Motorsport done and dusted for week 3 of term 2 of 2024. But there's more still to come on platforms. The Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Let's just have a quick look ahead at that now for you. Tomorrow night, this is the newest show in town on the platforms of the GSRC. It is broadcast by Joe Baldwin and the Quali artists. It is the Superstar Racing Experience, the SRX stock cars. They're off to Bristol Motor Speedway on the dirt configuration tomorrow night. 15 minutes for the opening race, 20 minutes for the second, and also the third, following a very similar format to Formula V at the moment, with that full reverse grid second race and that top 10 invert for the third. All getting underway, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you join the boys for that. Saturday night, it was mentioned here earlier, the mountain men are off to, well, the mountain, Mount Panorama. As per usual, it's not like we've got any other mountain to play with on the iRacing platforms. So we go to Mount Panorama and we go there, and that's more the point of the discussion here. We're going there with the Pro Mazdas this time round to continue that open wheel flavour that we've had for the last few hours here. 32 laps the journey, getting underway 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday night, the doubleheader returns, and we'll have a little bit of AM and a little bit of pro racing in GT3. But before that, Super 2 and Super 3 for you from Sandown. 25 minutes of journey there, getting underway 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm hoping that 7:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time number is actually right on the screen there, and they've bumped things back 5 minutes for me so that I can watch the end of Home and Away rather than watching the third segment after the broadcast. So that'd be good. But usually it's 7:30 on air, so that ruins that. But yes, round 4 of the championship from Sandown. I'm looking forward to that immensely. Then on to Waste Options GT3 M split first up, race 1 from the Red Bull Ring over 14 laps. It is a sprint round. We go there for the second race with the Pro split, top 10 invert, 24 laps the journey. Looking forward to it immensely. That equates to about 21 minutes and 37 minutes respectively for the two races, all getting underway for you 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tuesday night, the loaded racing up and coming series continues. In Van Reno for Ferrari 296 GT3s from a yet to be determined venue that'll be decided over the weekend. Monday night, of course, race 10 minutes, race 2, 15, race 3, 25, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. And then on the circuit, Villeneuve, Montreal, Canada, the Orbit Australia, GT1 Civil War Challenge, that one getting underway 9 Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday night, hopefully, Daniel Correa will set himself an alarm this week, or not fall asleep in a very comfortable office chair. One or the other, I'm not sure yet. Porsche Cup racing first up of the production car challenge from the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps, and race 1 will be 15 minutes, race 2:25, the top 10 inverted the grid there, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Then on to the Nürburgring 24-hour layout for a 60-minute race, if you don't mind, which will be, what, about 10 laps? Actually, no, it won't even be that, it'll be less. And it's not a 6-minute a lap circuit, it's about 8-9 maybe, so you're looking at about no more than 7 laps around there on Wednesday night. 60 minutes the journey, the Nürburgring 24-hour layout circuit. Race start 8:45 Eastern Standard Time, round 4 of the GT4 Challenge on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And as we've detailed already a few times already tonight, the Algarve International Circuit Portimao hosts a doubleheader next week. It'll be Spreyton's on Thursday Night Motorsport. We are live with you for that. We'll have Formula V first up. We'll have Super Formula Light second up. For them, it is just a single race on this occasion, and it's the first of the 60-minuters for the season. I believe there are just 2 of those, but that will be the first one next week. So a little bit of overtime for us next Thursday night, which doesn't make me feel too bad about the fact that we're getting out of here a few minutes early tonight. It's preceded by the 3-race main course that is Formula V around that venue, and I'll tell you what, I'm already excited for that. That will be absolutely fantastic from first until last. Right, GSRC.merch, GSRCmerch.myshopify.com. I'm a bit out of practice, folks. I've been gone for a week and a half. www.gsrcmerch.myshopify.com for your merch, or it'll take you to the same site if you go merch.tgsrci.com, and all the information about what's available to purchase and how you can go about doing so is there for you. Not too late to grab mum a gift for Mother's Day. May I just make that suggestion one more time? race.tgsrci.com takes you to the website and provides you with all the other information relevant to the club, how to get involved, how to go about joining up, when we're on air, when we're not, what's on the schedule beyond what we're broadcasting, etc. and so forth, and how you go about paying your fee to join either as a club member or as an endurance-only member. And on that note, we should let you know that the next round of the GSRC Endurance Championship will take us next Sunday on Mother's Day, appropriately enough, to the Laguna Seca circuit in California, and that will be live on these platforms from about 10 minutes to 12 Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you join the team for that. I believe I'll be out of office because I'm heading back to Cessnock that day to catch up with the family and attend appointments and other things down that way. So as much as I would have loved to have been here for it, I don't think I'll be able to be so. In saying all of that, just a reminder that this doesn't happen without the great support of the people that we should scroll across the bottom of your screen here. And just recapping the final score at the Adelaide Oval, the Crows have got it done 12-6-78 to 5-18-48. So that's a shocker for Port Adelaide. My goodness gracious me. 5-18-48 is 23 scoring shots to 12-6-78, which is 18 scoring shots. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to work out that if Port Adelaide got their kicking boots on tonight, they might have actually had a chance. Waste options, Orbic Australia, Spreyton Cider, Loadsy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics are the people that we need to thank for their ongoing support of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Our first one of May is done on a week where we've all been reflective, of course. This time last week it was Anzac Day. Yesterday marked 30 years since the passing of Ayrton Senna, a day prior to the passing of Roland Ratzenberger at the San Marino Grand Prix at the Imola circuit. There'll be more on that, no doubt, when Formula One rolls into town in Imola in a fortnight's time. This weekend, of course, they go to Miami. Of course, there's plenty of other great motorsport coming up this weekend as well, not least NASCAR, not least, of course, I believe there might be some other motorsport there that I've missed out mentioning. Craftsman Truck Series NASCAR. So all 3 tiers of NASCAR this weekend is the main point that I wanted to make there. Of course, the ASBK was on last weekend. Supercars aren't back for a couple of weeks. MotoGP is on a week off. I'm not sure about the World Supers, and IndyCar, of course, heads to Indianapolis next weekend. So FIA World Endurance Championship also the same, and of course there might be some IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship action not too far away either. But it's a quieter weekend than usual on the motorsport front, but don't get too used to that because there's plenty still to come in what is an enormous year of motorsport. I hope you've sincerely enjoyed our coverage of Spreyton side of Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. 4 different winners out of the 5 races. The Master and the Apprentice going toe-to-toe there in race 1 of Super Formula Lights. The old experienced hand doing what he has so often done in the tin top on the Thursday night in Matty Dench winning that opening race. Aidan Luthwaite restoring order in the second. It was an absolute belter of the night. Formula V, of course, going the way of Trent Lavis as well. So that's it from us. Hope you enjoyed it. The Panthers very comfortable winners over the Rabbitohs in Thursday night NRL as well. So the boxes are ticked, the housekeeping's done. We have rock and rolled through this with relative ease, quite frankly. My thanks to Daniel Correa-Sarr. Don't forget to join Joe Baldwin and Nick Fodiatis tomorrow night as Week 3 continues and concludes. And of course, we look forward to your company again, Adam Lavis and I, on Monday night for the round 4 of both the supercars from Sandown and the GT3s for waste options from the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Until then, for the team, I'm Zach Caden bidding you a very good night. Thanks so much for coming along for the ride. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we look forward to your company next time. Bye for now.
You